Audio check 1 2 1 2. Audio check 1 2. Sounds like we're coming in loud and clear, everybody. I think we're doing good. If you're out in Chatland, please let me know if you hear everything loud and clear. Also, a huge thank you to everyone who's currently out there. A pleasure to have you all back. I am so excited to be broadcasting my TTRPG once again on Twitch. Hell yes. And so, without further ado, let me just open this up. Sounds, big thing stuff. Yes, it's incredible what you can do with a little bit of fudging. Just a little smidgy of work. You can get some incredible stuff done. So, as I open up what I need here, this is going to be... Here we go. Alright, thank you all for your patience as we finally get things set up. And I will be letting my amazing players know when we're about to go live. They'll get a very obvious alert to let them know, because they can all see me. You guys can't see them. A huge thank you again to the amazing Ampersand D20 and also Lolly and my incredible players, but especially Ampersand D20 for helping me completely unfuck my audio for the first time in years. I can now control everything. It is truly wondrous. So, without further ado, hello everybody. I am the last Omnitech, your favorite robot American, and welcome to the next session of Legacy First Flight. Legacy First Flight, for those of you who are new to my streams, is an indie TTRPG that I've been working on for the better part of 20 years. Unlike most indie TTRPGs, which are usually zine or smaller focused games, this is a much larger, sprawling focus game, which has more in common with the scale of things like Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder or Starfinder. It is a science fiction setting, set in the year 2400, I guess. Yeah, 2400. After centuries of turmoil, humanity has bravely ventured from its home on Earth, bound by shared hope. We strode into the stars together under the banner of the Commonwealth of Humankind. Now the peoples of the 8 sapient species of the Galactic Union tirelessly strive to maintain a delicate peace that has endured for 2.5 millennia. Starships fold space and time to cross the impossible gulf separating stars. Matter printers forge abundant base elements on a molecular level into food, shelter, clothing, tools, and more. The Prism, a sprawling public galactic communications network, allows the distant worlds of the Union instantaneous communication and sharing of knowledge. Mighty terraforming engines change barren, lifeless rocks into thriving garden worlds within the span of a decade. It is a time of wonders, but it dances on the edge of a knife. While the 8 member species of the Union may be at peace, the true scale of the galaxy is vast, and most of its trillions of peoples live far from the influence of their homeworlds. Pocket empires, nation-states, and free marches are scattered outside the Union's territory. Dictators, pirates, fascists, and cults prey upon these isolated regions, creating a steady drumbeat of exploitation and violence that Union peacekeepers fight to contain. Yet the greatest threats faced by the galaxy are shrouded in its past. The Union is but the latest civilization to stretch across the galaxy, yet it grows in the graveyard of those that came before. The Anazali Imperial, the Tyrants Sectori, the Wanderers in the Dark. The rise and fall of galactic society has played out countless times, inevitably each collapse so complete and sudden that any records are lost to posterity, leaving the twilight of these empires a matter of grim historical speculation. But while their history is lost to us, within undiscovered ruins that lay hidden beneath our feet on countless worlds, their ancient works persist. Weapons of unimaginable scale, ancient threats locked away in fear. Technologies beyond our wildest dreams. If the galaxy is to endure, these hidden ruin worlds must be discovered and charted, and their troves of relics catalogued, lest they be unleashed on the Union. So the Union sends out Voyagers, teams of seasoned explorers, mercenaries, and specialists. They are the very best and brightest the Union can offer, each having already encountered ancient technology. You are a Voyager, and what you do will change the galaxy forever. And so, without further ado, let's pop on over to our game. And we'll make sure that our audio balance is not completely screwed up, but I think it looks good. Hello, everybody. How are we coming in? Is my voice coming in good? You all right? We all set?
Yeah. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Let's see.
That's great news. Again, huge props. Thank you as always, Paul. Truly a homie. The homiest of homies. All right. Let's go through very quickly, get a quick audio check so I don't blow out our viewers' ears the first time folks talk. So we're going to go from left to right on my perspective. Lee, can I get an audio check out of you?
It's good to be back.
Thank you very much. Everyone can finally hear you. I'm so excited. Lolly, can I get an audio check out of you?
I'm saying words audibly, sounds, things, stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lolly. Much appreciated. Paul, one last time if I can get an audio check out of you.
Hello there. I'm still AmpSandy20, aka Paul. This is my face.
Fantastic. And Mossy, can I get a check out of you, please?
And I'm here amongst all these lovely people just to be a goblin.
Let's go. Audio balance looks grand, and we are set for the stars. So, a huge thank you again, everybody, and welcome back to Legacy First Flight. They can all see you now and hear you now, and I can control your audio. I feel accomplished. There's only one thing.
The power.
It truly is a powerful thing. Also, a huge thank you to my amazing... And I'm going to add one final detail, which is the audio from my Winamp. So I should be good now. Nice. All right. Still have a 114,000 modes. This is what happens when you join my TTRPG streams, especially a long-time viewer. We should really make sure that you get into a place where you can watch one of my TTRPGs, game some of those. So, let's take a moment to not just thank everyone who's here, but also everybody who is not. We do have one player missing today. Our amazing friend JJ Cray will not be joining us today, unfortunately. So we will consign her token to the G. You can unlock so many random subs. You absolutely could. So,
having a chill in a hot tub somewhere. It's like, no, you got this. Leave me alone.
Oh, absolutely. So,
Bathtub.
Who wants to do a little recap of what happened? What has happened in the last session? Please feel free. Now is the time for that recap.
I watched wrestling.
I did. Lots of wrestling.
Yeah, and I learned about so many wrestling things. So I learned that the LCT is the professional league and the UWC is the underground walker circuit, so like the lower leagues. Both are quite lucrative, but they have very different audiences. And a lot of them are solo battles between the two the mech fights, I should probably say that, mech fights, not than actual people. Most of them are solo battles, first to the quote-unquote death. And they all get about 10 points in the match, 5 for winning and 5 for just looking cool. So the audience gets to vote for that, I believe. And you need to have at least 200 points to enter the championships.
Yeah, you basically nailed it. So yeah, that is a very good summary of the Letali Combat Tournament Circuit, or LCT, which is effectively the largest sporting event out here in this sector of space. It really is kind of a well-known thing. This is the equivalent of professional wrestling on the frontier. A lot of workers get together and smash their mechs together, bit by bit, and get some really cool shots out of it. And it's mostly in a virtual space, so people don't actually die, usually in like the actual formal championship tournament. But in the underground mech fight arenas, like the actual mech fight tournaments, that circuit absolutely is like people do occasionally get hurt because they're not fighting in a virtual space, they're fighting in real life. So yeah, Paul, thank you very much. That was lovely. Anyone else want to give any other feedback or any like basic summary of why we're going to where we're going today?
I mean, if everyone's okay with it, I can make a note, or Lolly, it looks like you were going to say something.
I was going to say, it depends. If you want stuff about why we're going to where we're going, that's different to recap of what previous happened.
Both works. Like, this is our first time back on Twitch. So what I guess I'm saying is context, backstory, structure, frame it, tell it. Give our audience some knowledge so they know where we are.
A long time ago in a galaxy far
Not that far.
Many eons ago, also known as in-game, like a couple of weeks, but out of game, time immemorial. I think this was related to, we got given a gauntlet that still had a hand in it that we did the investigating of, and came to the conclusion that this is where it likely came from, and we want to know more about it and the person it was attached to and other things related to that.
Yeah, we're basically being paid to investigate.
Yes, we're being asked by, I think it's the JSA guy actually has asked us to look into it.
Indeed. Yes, the severed hand, which you guys are investigating.
Zenith was doing research on the felling thorn and the needle things she was given by the Veracity. Works out that, she gets the hydroponics running. She could literally just grow them. So that's cool. And one every 5 sessions, she'll have a new fruit. So I should have a full one by the 8th of August. Fingers crossed.
This is true. The only relic in the game that replicates itself.
I love the idea that we are still using the Christian calendar, even like in the year 24. So it's still those 12 months. That's it. Everyone's using that.
Gregorian.
That's it, Gregorian.
There you go. And Mognir came and had a chat to Zenith, to check if she was emotionally okay, and well, she's as emotionally constipated ever, which means she's fine. She's fine. He's asked her to look into maybe looking at the hacking software defensive stuff for the ship, and she said, yep, she'll do that. And then he asked her to help make his room more green. She got really hyped about this. She got other people, she got Becky and Gallant involved, and was like, right, we're going to greenify this room to a whole new level. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's what Zenith did recently.
Heck yeah. All right.
Maya's not here, but I will note that her character did find out that there are a lot of UTC deaths that are really weird and odd, especially as of late. They've just kind of disappeared or died in odd ways. So that's another indicator that something weird is going on here.
Something weird is happening. Yes, that is
research
true.
Into the people running both the official and the unofficial fightings and things. And did some training that she in her ballistics, which she aced the hell out of.
Yes, that is a very important detail. Thank you. You did actually crush that in a way that was very stunning to me. I did not expect that. All right. That sounds pretty good. So, I guess we'll pick it up where we left off with you guys. Unless anyone has any last thing to add.
Is Mognir's suit clean now?
Yes, you've had 5 days to do basic
I'm
maintenance.
checking. Because Cogsworth got all his floof and scales and stuff all up inside it, so...
Oh, they have a bunch of technicians there. The minute he got out and Mognir's like, it's your problem to fix, Cogsworth literally got like 3 guys with a vacuum and a scrub brush. It's fine. The interior of that thing has been nicely like re-detailed, swapped down all the leather. They put a little air freshener in there so it smells nice and piney. Everything is lovely.
I would presume as soon as the technicians went to Cogsworth, we've cleaned it. Cogsworth is probably going to message Mognir like, come double check. If you're not happy, they'll keep cleaning.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of in their job description, like maintaining gear.
Such is the life, unfortunately, of anyone who works at a car wash. You're never done cleaning. Never. So, I suppose with that, we'll actually zoom in today on what our session is going to be. So, as everything is resolved, and you guys have finished all your little side tasks, or at least set them in motion for some of these projects. In the distance, a large structure looms over your starship. It is one that you guys have been approaching for 5 days, and now that you're finally here, the sheer scale and size of it truly is impressive. You ever post something and then have it completely disappear? Oh, there it is. Feels good. So, the structure of Letali Bay finally looms over your starship as you guys approach. A colossal orbital platform housed inside of an asteroid. Big enough and structure large enough for an entire city the size of, well, I don't want to say all of Manhattan, but like a chunk of the downtown. Almost like an olive on a, I guess, yeah, almost like an olive on a tooth. This thing sits suspended above the large gas giant that is Letali, and hides within the outside rocky face of it, which is pockmarked with thousands of craters, but also strange geometric patterns where strip mining has occurred over the course of, in this case, like 50 to 60 years, as much of the interior has been also completely hollowed out. And within, you can see these large towers sticking out from both ends of polar north and south of this artificial moon. As you guys approach, you can see a large glowing dome of the arcology sitting in the middle, where the majority of people and tourists live, within which you can see shining structures and what appears to be from a distance a set of theme parks and indoor green spaces. And stretching out from the sides, almost like a flattened pizza crust, is a large metallic structure called, which is where your ship is finally pulled. Now, this is where I get to ask you guys, as your ship docks and locks in place at this orbital structure, as you've been invited here by its owners, what are you guys bringing with you? A reminder, we'll have access to the ship during this investigation. I can't guarantee in between every firefight you'll be able to run over and swap your gear, but as a general rule, you can come back here anytime you have like a couple minutes of time. So what are you bringing with you initially? Bearing in mind you will be meeting corporate CEO very shortly.
I was going to say, likely to be any sort of correct etiquette in terms of armedness and how armed you are looking visibly.
Well, I mean, we were contracted to come here. I have a feeling that we already have, like, upon entry, I have a feeling that they're like, ah, yes, Voyagers, we're going to give you special permissions.
Basically, you are a little bit... Voyagers kind of fill the same, like, role that Spectres did during Mass Effect, where it's kind of like, you call these guys in, the expectation is you are expecting an armed troop to arrive. However, this also is like, this is a largely like pleasant meeting, or at least a business meeting between someone who's called in Voyagers and those consultants who arrived. So you're not going in to start shooting immediately. It's up to you to decide if you want to meet someone. I would say being armed is reasonable. Walking into what is probably going to be a corporate headquarters gunned up to the teeth, probably unnecessary. Paul, for your benefit, you can bring your mech, probably. They would at least have plenty of places to put it here, given mech fight. What were you saying, Mossy?
Why are you looking at me when you say this?
I don't know, Mossy.
You are.
Maybe it has something to do with, you know, Magnier having a lot of guns and really heavy armor.
And the reason he travels with all of them all the time.
Fair.
I did have a question, because I'm literally looking through the Arsenal catalog again. How many frequency blades did we have?
You had like 3?
So many things.
Yeah, like, it's up to you guys what you want to bring with you. Your call. I'm pretty confident you're not going to need to worry about, do we have enough? I don't think you guys have enough. It's technically under the loot pool. Because it'll have the list of the stuff you have in there. That'll be under salvaged weaponry and such. You have 2 frequency knives.
Okay, yeah, because the dagger ones. Becky will take one of those and the hand cannon.
Okay, so you've got the is it the high explosive hand cannon that you got, the meteor?
Yes,
Okay.
but tactfully like covered like in a holster, so that way it's not immediately recognizable.
That's fair. It's still a pretty honking huge hand cannon, but again, like it's not reasonable for you to walk in well armed. The difference between hiring someone, they walk in with like a pistol and a holster as a security consultant, or they walk in carrying a rotary grenade launcher and full body armor for their first meeting. No. So your call on that. So sounds like you have that. Make sure you keep track of those. What's everyone else bringing with them for their meeting?
Zenith is going to have the wife knife, of course, and probably her Peacemaker Storm Magnum and her hacking module. But she, as is classic for her, she's got concealment mods on everything, concealed weapon mods. So she's got the wife knife and the gun, but they are hidden away.
Very useful. I do love that you always spend money on the compact weapon mods that you stow them away.
Oh yeah, it's very big on her being actually quite armed, but never looking it. She just looks like, at best, she's got the hacking mod. Like, okay, so she can hack things. Not looking like she's actually also quite armed.
Fair, very fair. All right, so we have discreetly armed, and Mossy and, I should say, Mognir, and what are you two?
Mognir's armaments are attached to his face, so it's hard for him to be discreet.
Just how much of the rest of it do I have him wear? Because the problem is, he doesn't really go anywhere without all of it.
I am just going to be bringing my, what is apparently called a survival blade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to bring my hand cannon, but obviously I'm going to bring Mecky and store Mecky in the parking garage or the equivalent of such things. One thing I do want to bring though is make sure that I've got a change of clothes, because I want to attend like the important higher up meetings and also slum it with the drunkards in a local bar, and I do feel like clothing wise they might be slightly different.
That is fair, yes. All right. So yeah, you're bringing a fancier set of clothing, your survival blade, you're probably gonna wear the fancier clothing now since you're gonna be Doc. And what else were you bringing? Were you bringing Mecky with you?
Yeah, I'm bringing Mecky with me. Yeah.
Okay, so you bring your giant robot. Gotcha. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then finally, Mognir. You bring, buddy. You know you have the machetes, which are built into your character's face, so that's not really a question of like, can you bring them? You really can't not bring those.
Honestly, the hard suit is not an optional thing either. That is basically his normal way of getting around now.
Sure. Okay.
So at this point, with the fact that Mecky is as Mecky is, but Louis himself is not massively armed, the other two are looking unarmed because it's all discreet. I'm very tempted to have Mognir actually go well armed as like the one security and guarding of the others doing the more socially bit. Plus, he could just fucking cloak out.
I mean,
a chunk of it if needs be. It would take a lot of energy to do it and maintain it, but he could.
You could. I believe your character actually has enough energy sustaining to cloak for a while. The biggest thing is running out of charges is the problem. But even then, again, I like to say Spectre-esque sort of like privileges. You can go anywhere armed. You're just playing the part of Rex right now.
Yeah, I think he is, as is his way, he is going to go fully armed as if he was heading into a firefight, because that's just the way he is.
Yeah.
And I'm probably, maybe wrongly assuming, but I'm going to assume that as we are aware that the leader of the Letali Mining Corp is another clique, he's probably going to ask which clan Lochner is from, and as soon as he says Duraleth, everything makes fucking sense.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assumption, Mossy. I don't think anyone's gonna bat an eyelash at you from Duraleth. Your clan is known as a militant clan, but being a little more militarized than most.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get my dice because I don't want to roll everything in front of
I had
everybody.
a question when you were ready.
I have an answer when you're ready.
So the frequency blades that we picked up from the Shrike back on Evanti Prime, I'm not seeing them in the loot pool. I think I either have the incorrect form.
The loot pool is the first Legacy First Flight loot pool.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It's right in your other rewards and salvage ranged weapons, below the relics.
Ranged.
Or salvage melee weapons. It's down there for Hellet frequency knives. I don't know how you're not seeing it. I'm literally looking.
Might just be because I'm looking on my phone rather than.
Yeah, it's right there in that little section. Right below the ranged ones, you have the melee. You have melee right below it. And it's also the rules just might not be written out there. So worst case, I will provide them for you. Again, this week has been a lot of chaos, so, as usual.
Fine, I'll punch a hole in anything before I can get close in the knifing range.
If you guys need the knife within the next 2 hours, I will be stunned and concerned. So, anyhow, everyone is currently... I now know what everyone's carrying. So, door opens, and you guys are now stepping out of the ship into what appears to be this large... I suppose a hangar would be as close to the term as we could use for this. It is a hangar, but it is a massive hangar, the space that you're currently in. Very few hangars in Legacy are large enough to have a ship inside of them. You need truly massive superstructures. Starships in Legacy are a kilometers-long affair. This is large enough where you can pull your ship completely in it and park it onto a gantry as it locks in and holds your ship in place. And as you guys walk down the gantry-way, you can see at the far end I guess it'd be a quintet of people waiting for you. First, you see the most obvious ones would probably be large, very large, rapid reaction force hardsuit troop that are just vibing there. These guys are all wearing medium-sized power armor, and they are hefty. It is bleeding top-of-the-line gear, all polished to a blinding silver sheen.
Gee, I wonder who owns them.
Mm-hmm. The only difference in the art here is that the ones here do not have a blue lighting or the blue JSA logo on their face. Instead, it is teal lighting, and they have the new Letali logo holographically superimposed over their face. In addition to that, you also see a clique in a very fancy suit, and also appears to be I should roll this out because I wanted to surprise myself on it. Have a little fun, you know? Okay, sure. You see an Acris standing next to them, also in a surprisingly nice suit. Very polished. It's kind of more robe-like, because again, Acris have these big wings built into their forearms. They can't really... But it's very neat, hangs low, but it's very clean and well tucked in. And he's holding a clipboard and wearing a pince nez. You can see a little scrolling bit of data going across the glass in front of his eyes as the clique steps forward from the rest of the group and addresses you guys directly. When he speaks, well, tell me if something sounds weird to all of you. Hello, Voyagers! Welcome! Welcome to Letali Bay. I am Director Viero Barasun. Welcome to my little shindig. I hope your travels. safe. I hope your accommodations will be cozy. Please walk with me this way. And as the click begins to like sort of slither away from where you guys are, just like a little gently, as you can see, he's flanked very closely by these other hard suits, but more closely by his secretary bird. Yes, I didn't futz with the pitch of his voice. That is actually what he's.
It's a click after my own heart having a normal sounding voice.
I mean, the question is, did he modify it intentionally, or is this just some weird mutation?
That's a great question.
Can I roll awareness?
You can roll awareness or engineering if you'd like.
Definitely engineering, since that's higher.
Yeah.
Wagner just assumes he modulated it to sound this way because a normal clicky voice sounds a little bit silly when you're in a powerful position like his.
I just want to double check. I heard you, Omni. Who's he flanked by? Sorry.
He is flanked by 2 hard suits and what appears to be an Acris secretary.
Sorry, I had to laugh when you said secretary bird.
I did hit bird. Okay, I'm just checking. Right. Okay.
You said bird, and my instantly was okay. So they're like grey feathered acris with the white and green, the white and black plumage, yellow legs, and everything, like the actual secretary bird. Then
actually, yes, 100%. I did not plan that. His secretary is a secretary bird. It works out. Sometimes the dice just love it.
I just thought of Diego from Aladdin, so we're on very different wavelengths. That's a weird person to be a secretary, but okay.
Like, it happens. People sometimes have certain names and end up in certain professions. That does happen, you know.
It does, for sure. Being typecast isn't just for actors. Sometimes it's for
I legitimately used to work with a hematologist called Dr. Blood.
Christ.
I actually found a provider called Dr. Pepper. Like, actually Dr. Pepper. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
That's hilarious, actually.
Fantastic.
So, as you guys are walking, Hero sort of turns around and you guys eventually get onto what looks like a little tram. It's kind of like a little hover car, kind of. And it's actually really nicely kept, unlike a lot of the other vehicles nearby, which are very dingy and sort of beat up industrial things. In the distance, you guys can see a bunch of heavy industrial work being done, lots of cargo being unloaded from other freighters, large cranes, welding sparks, and also the distant glow of what must be some kind of forge complex or smelters. The scent is still in the air. You guys can definitely perceive it. I'm not going to make you roll initiative or roll awareness for that. The smell of cordite is a very noticeable smell, and in here it fills the air.
Did I notice that it was artificially made?
Given that you rolled a 19, it is 100% artificial. Viero probably, like Mognir said, has augmented his voice. How he's done it, you're not sure. It's definitely not a natural voice, though. Click voices literally can't get to that pitch. They breathe helium. It's not possible. So this dude's probably got some kind of voice modulator shoved somewhere in his throat just to make this sound. Hero turns around and looks at you all. So then, now that you're all here, I figure I can be more direct with you. Gentlemen, could you kill your audio receptors, please? As the vehicle lifts off, you can see the 3 JSA hardsuit soldiers click the side of their head, and the logo on their face actually turns off, and their lighting turns off. They kind of lock into what appears to be like a stealth or silent mode. And Viero turns around to look at all of you. This is a bloody fucking mess, and I can't wait to get it fixed. So, can I ask you all, you all came here because certain Frikish fellow recommended you all highly to me. How much experience do you all have solving murder mysteries? Don't mind me asking.
We've solved disappearances. I don't think this will be too much more difficult than what we've already accomplished.
I hope so, because it has all of my subsidiaries and all my other investors freaking out. Quite reasonably, might I add. It is very distressing for most of them, especially this close to the tournament, to have someone die, especially someone so well. And as you guys are on this little hover cart flying by, you can see just to the right of you as you're entering into another district, this giant holographic display, like a billboard, which is about 6 stories tall and a couple 100 feet wide, and plastered on it is this black and white image of a human standing on top of a mech, holding his fist up, and to the left of it is this giant "Rest in Peace, the People's Champion," and just this endless scroll of news, and they literally have a Prism feed there, which is just everyone on the Prism equivalent of Blue Sky or Twitter, just leaving their appreciations for this guy. There's slightly somber music playing in the background. It's very much it's very corporate schlocky, but at the same time you can see there actually is a real showing of love, an outpouring of grief going on just on that alone. And as you guys ride upwards, you can see this is just one of 100 of these in the distance. As you guys are going up, so much celebrity. It's a problem. Hammertide was probably going to win and make a lot of money for a lot of people, but more importantly, Hammertide is a symbol something people can rally behind.
I'm just going to lean over to Zeta and be like, Hammertide was the people's champion. He was facing off against... Do I know who he was due to fight?
Yeah, it was looking like it was probably going to be there's usually 20 in the championship, but the 2 major ones in the running were one, a person by the name of Spearhead, another human, him, roughly in his 40s, and Vice Grip, who is a Shrike, actually, she, her, and yeah, they were kind of all squared up to be the big 3-way cage fight probably at the end of this. The odds were that all 3 were going to get them.
Okay. Yeah, Hammertide was actually due to go into the finals as a reigning champion against the other favourites of the match, Spearhead, who personally I didn't really like. I think he's a bit of a douche, a bit of a show-off, but he does his best and he's a decent fighter. Hammertide himself was actually the underground champion, as well as a few people to be caught up. And I'm going to sort of special interest just reel this off, and I have not cared nor noticed if Zenith is listening, paying attention, or cares. I'm just I learned this all in the last 5 days. I'm so excited to say it out loud because I've obtained it. It's wonderful.
She stands there and receives information, and she's just...
Is Zenith slightly fascinated by the fact that Louis actually knows something relevant?
Well, there's a few times where she sort of opens and closes her mouth, but you don't pause for breath for a long time. Eventually, you get to the end and she goes, I don't care.
Oh.
Purge that from my memory.
And Becky will lean towards the director and very clearly ask, do you have any leads? It's very rare for there to be nothing, no feeds, no audio clips, no threats beforehand. It's usually close to home. That tends to be where most murders are committed.
You would think that there would be more information on it, but actually what you're describing isn't uncommon. At least not where this murder occurred. Hammertide was killed in the plank. It wasn't uptown, it wasn't by the towers, it wasn't even by the dome. He was killed heading towards what we believe was a dive bar down there. Unfortunately, the plank isn't really designed for much habitation. It's primarily an industrial zone, but guilders have turned it into living slums and the dive bars and garages and fight clubs and anything they can think of. And so Unfortunately, the infrastructure down there is very winding, convoluted. Some of it's not even intended to be the way it is. It's kind of build whatever the hell they want and whatever they need, and bother to tell us or request permits or anything. Tell anybody. Our friend Hammertide, unfortunately, we don't have any footage of his murder. Instead, had him discovered later by a number of guilders. Came across his body and immediately reported it, called for emergency services. By the time they arrived, he was long dead. We're not even sure he was alive when they found him. Most people don't survive impalement.
Didn't Hammertide come up through the UTC that is typically happening around the planet? Like, did he go... What was he doing there now that he climbed the rank so high? What, visiting his, like, old hunting ground? Like, what? Do we know why he was there?
Make me an awareness roll, Louis. I would say Louis and Magnir. Actually, all of you can make me an awareness check if you, or negotiation.
My awareness, not theirs. Yeah, that's fine. Awareness +3, and it is intelligence. I've forgotten how to play this game. D6.
You're good. It's been a hot minute.
I mean, I did want to interject just because of Gerald's last stand. Like, I have a feeling that's where we're gonna have to go, just above table.
Gerald.
I'm looking at a 21 before mods. That's pretty good. We're looking at a dirty 20 as well. And Louis, you're looking at a
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, that
We're gonna
21 becomes a 24.
I'll take my 11.
Okay.
Lolly, we're gonna have to make a tiny little bar stand for Gerald, for your little mushroom man.
You named him. This is Gerald. He is complete.
If this were a few decades later, he might have been able to be Veracity.
I'll get the variant in the shrooms.
So, given everyone's roles, and I do mean everyone's, Louis, I'm going to give you a situational +2 since you're directly addressing him and you're everybody notices that Viero immediately is like, he raises his eyebrow as he hears you mentioning, like, came to the UTC, and, like, his focus sort of, like, gets on you, but he also sort of, like, looks a little side to side, checks to make sure that the hard suit guys have their hard suits still, like, muted. Clearly just discussing that makes sense. And all of you know that. Like, again, it's not... He's very good usually being discreet, but that apparently hit him a little out of left field. Yes, I suppose maybe. It's also a good place to get unregistered drinks, and Hammertide, well, like you said, came from below. Technically, he didn't come from here, in the strictest sense. He's, like a lot of the Gilder people, like a lot of the people who were descended from Gilders, he came from another world, and he sort of built himself up here. So, Hammertide, the fighter, might have been born here in New Letali, but Hammertide, the man, he was born back on Verde. So...
It might be worth us trying to find out which one got him killed, or which one was targeted. Is it Hammertide the fighter, or Hammertide the person?
That's a great question. I wish I knew.
I wish you knew too, it would save us a lot of time. It'd be great if you knew who murdered him as well, actually. Like, honestly, like, do you... No? Okay.
Who what? Who murdered him? No, I wish I did. I would not have called for any help, and we would have buried this all a while back. And we would be fighting in the Hammertide LTC Memorial Championship by now. But that is not how it is, unfortunately.
For someone who is so celebrity here, how did no one realize he was heading to the plank? I assume he went unassisted, unguarded, unsuited.
Is that an ice cream truck? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the distance, an ice cream truck hovers by.
But it's 1 billion degrees, they come twice a day, alright?
They go literally
It's
past the front
fantastic
of the
timing.
house.
To be honest, you are
Very-
like a horseshoe round 2 greens, so yeah.
Very fair. If we need to take an ice cream break at some point for like the benefit of the UK, of my UK players, please let me know. So Vero sort of shrugs his carapace a little bit. Look, there's the man on the stage that gets roses and billions of dollars, sure, millions of credits flowing through our accounts from all of his merchandise. But the truth of the matter is, that's kayfabe. He's out here putting on a show, like most of us. The man himself was rather insular, as are many of the LCT fighters. Just how it goes. Mech fight attracts a certain type of person, and anyone who believes that it's a sport to beat the shit out of your fellow person usually isn't particularly eager to spend a lot of time with everyone. In my experience, many of the tournament circuit fighters are keep to themselves. They have a close, very tightly knit social circle that they operate in. Some of them maintain it amongst their fellow fighters. Others have family members that they don't want anywhere near this. And it doesn't hurt the fact that they're all fighting in mechs, which means half the fan base is venerating the fighter, the other half is drooling over their hardware. It's how it goes. So Hammertide was a big, but like everything in New Letali, you're expected to let people. And suppose, like many others, he simply just went for a stroll, found a way to get around security, and ended up down here. One of the many reasons why the plank still is what it is. Believe me, we tried to bring it into more keeping with the aesthetic we have across the rest of Letali Bay, hoping to make it a little more friendly for tourists and visitors, and even our fellow security personnel and fighters for the exact same reasons you've mentioned, wanting to make sure that they are served and protected. Unfortunately, the locals won't have it. And if I can be completely honest with you, I don't want to piss off a bunch of, well, ore miners. I don't know if you've ever worked with guilders. Guilders know how to riot. So, we give them their space, they do their work, we give them the plank, effectively, to do as they will. Until now, we've never imagined anyone would take a swing at one of these fighters. Again, they're celebrities and they're people. In the case of Hammertide, he was the people's champion. He has the most support in the plank. So he should be safer here than he probably would be up in the dome.
It is said that he was an inspiration for lower folk and that he was being pushed as an idealistic situation where people from the plank could climb up the ranks and become famous, get rich.
And people who think they have a chance don't riot, usually.
Unfortunately, destabilization isn't conducive to a healthy environment.
I presume his assets, the mech, the hardware, are under close guard, and you know exactly where that is, and none of it is missing.
Yes, that I can confirm. Like most of the LCTC, we make sure that their mechs are properly accounted for and locked away. And usually they're under a high security guard. Right now...
Would you be okay if I took a look at it?
Of course, by all means. So anything you need, I'm happy to give you access to. Anywhere within the whole place.
And apart from the whole, I don't get this is the first time Xena's spoken up, kind of, would you be able to give us a clear briefing on how much investigation has happened and where you're actually up to?
Yes, I would be happy to. Let's get to the spire first. I don't think we should talk about this. Everyone knows everything I've just mentioned for the most part, so I'm not worried if any snooping. Looks up at the hard suits. But Letali Tower is the better place to have this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to all the money that people have bet on Hammertide to win or lose? He's dead. He can't do either. Probably.
That's
a loss.
That's a large concern. So we technically don't open betting for the event formally through our official LT tower structures. We don't do that until the day of the fight. In case things happen.
In case one of the fighters ends up dead, it was a good plan.
Well, usually more simple things. A fighter might simply sprain something.
Stub his toe.
A stomach bug, a flu, have a family emergency. Shit happens. You need to plan around it.
Be impaled.
Okay, yes. In case of the worst possible scenario, certainly. But in the same way that you have a fire alarm inside of a building, not because someone's going to throw a Molotov cocktail, but more likely because someone's just going to have a fry up and forget to turn the fire off. That's usually how it goes. But yes, normally we have protocols for that. However, usually when that happens, we defer the fight for a day or two. The problem is that Hammertide was going into this as one of the champions. And usually, when that happens, they get there. We've not had anyone try to kill them. And let me be completely fair. Trying to kill an LCT fighter, any other context, I would say is suicide. Hammertide was dangerous in his mech, yes. But out of his mech, he was a 265-pound man who stood 7 foot without augments. The man literally learned how to fight with a sledgehammer on foot so he could fight with an impact hammer in the ring.
Hence Hammertide.
Yes.
Either that or it's just a coincidence and like he was named that first. Maybe that. What's his real name? Do we know? Is that Hammertide? Is this like the people who have the profession and it's actually what they end up being, like we discussed?
So, his real name was Jericho Ritchie. Jericho Ritchie was Hammertide's name. We don't spread their names normally in the LCTC, protect family and friends. Of course, again, they're celebrities. This kind of information does get out. But as a general rule of thumb and an internal culture thing, you don't talk about these outside of kayfabe. Talk about them as their identity. That's what they are, their persona. Hammertide arrived in the ring as the people's champion. His mech contender is half of who he is. He's the man who made the people's hammer. But Jericho Ritchie is the man who benefited. I can tell you more information if you'd like. He's 25 years old at time of death. As far as we know, he had no romantic entanglements with anyone. Had close friends in the past, but as I understand, he hasn't had many contacts with any of them as of late recently. None of them seem like they would be involved in this. They all have ironclad alibis. In fact, the majority of them weren't even on planet. Most of them were elsewhere, traveling about, seeing if they could set him up for future tournaments events. Besides people he moved down
Louis
here.
and Paul can't remember anything. How did he die? Do we know? Like above table, like what happened to him?
Oh, yeah.
Impaled.
Yeah,
Impaled,
above
that's
table,
fine,
he
okay.
was impaled. Yeah. The only thing that was found was a... Go ahead.
I couldn't bring her to actually say the sassy line that came to mind when he's saying, "Oh yeah," because normally we just defer it. Because she wouldn't say it, but I'm had like no amount of delaying cures being impaled. But I'm like,
Unless you're Olaf, and then in which case, yeah, it's fine.
I'm like, she's not quite sassy enough to actually say it to this guy who sounds quite stressed. She's just gonna.
Is there any next of kin?
No, there isn't. He had a family on Verde. However, as I understand, they were killed at one point when the storm wall.
Is there someone or a corporation or an entity that gets a payout if he dies while fighting?
We don't accept bets on lethal circumstances.
I'm
but
thinking more of a life insurance policy.
if that were the case, it technically would be us. However, at the same time, the new Letali Mining Corporation has a lot more reason to see him alive. I assure you, his insurance payout is a small consolation for his untimely demise. However, I would much prefer he make a couple billion more currents in sales than us get a one-time payment.
It was not my intent to throw suspicion, just wondering if there was an external entity that would benefit more from his death.
At this point, the hover car pulls into the tower. There's so you guys literally go completely over the dome at this point. You're outside in vacuum side of your inside your suits. So again, your atmosphere automatically clicks on or off as it approaches vacuum.
It'd be funny if we just all of a sudden got space.
So you're just out in space, instantly died. But yeah, it goes out into space, and it lands actually on the topmost, the very tippy top of the tower, where you guys are. There's a little, almost a helipad kind of structure, where you can see there's a number of trucks just like this one, and one of them appears to even be a security, a very upgunned security truck with what appears to be some kind of riot suppression gear on the back, basically a bunch of grenade launchers. But as you guys park, and his security personnel begin to walk towards the airlock door ahead of you guys, Bureau stays behind and sort of leans in and puts his hand directly on you, Mognir, on your hard suit, establishing a physical connection across the vacuum, so that you can hear what he's saying without radio. And as he leans over and touches you, he says, "There are many people sure bet on the death of combatants. I can't imagine many people who would have bet on his death, besides a lot of desperate folks. Corporations-wise, though, it's the JSA. Everyone bets on everything, mostly under the table. So yes, it's entirely possible. I don't know who, and I don't know with what debtors, but I wouldn't be surprised. If you want to know who's taking out bets on who might live or die, you want to go to the underground circuit. They'd be the ones who manage those kind of things. I don't let loan sharks or those kind of bets occur above table."
And just out of curiosity, you haven't heard anything from Euripides or Chromium specifically?
Chromium Directive and Euripides Interstellar, both two of our very important sponsors, along with the Frontier Corporation, expanding your frontiers by one star at a time, are in fact all very much tied to this event. Yes. They have all released very lengthy press releases describing the sadness.
You mentioned that Hammertide had some friends, or the fighters have some close friends with each other sometimes. Was Hammertide behind the scenes friends with Spearhead and the other guy who I forgot?
Vice Grip.
I was going to say Pincers or something. Vice Grip, yeah. Were they friends, or was there some heated rivalry there?
So at this point, you guys step into the airlock and it seals and cycles. The JSA troops sort of guard the back, and you're now inside of a nice, cool black, hallway. Temperature's pretty chill, roughly 70 degrees or so Fahrenheit. I think that's 30 degrees, 32 degrees Celsius, something like that. Much more manageable. And so, as you guys are walking through, he sort of just turns around the corner. You can see where you guys are. It's large CEO suite overlooking the entirety of Letali Bay. Everything is obnoxiously polished glass. It's that faux futuristic aesthetic that even in the distant future is still used by everyone who just doesn't have any taste and prefers to just get all their taste bought secondhand, usually from consultants who are too busy sniffing their own farts to really know what actual taste is.
This is remarkably specific, Andy. Are you okay?
I may or may not have encountered this exact circumstance several dozen times in Florida. Yes, off the soapbox, you're right. So, as he turns around...
We need one.
So as he turns around, I'll have a sip. Everyone have a
go
drink.
on Twitch.
So
We have been going for an hour, which is actually kind of impressive. I was like, yeah, we should take a drink.
Thank you. So he does turn around. General rule of thumb, we try to cultivate a spirit de corps amongst our fighters. There's what happens in the ring, which obviously play up for the cameras. Hammer Tide and Spearhead have had a long-running spat of bad blood between the two of them. I think last season, Hammer Tide hit on Spearhead's girlfriend because there was some talk about Spearhead cheating on her or something, but it's all manufactured bullshit. Like, it's not real. Behind the scenes, they're co-workers. Have been for years. There's a reason why frequently, whenever we have our tag team matches, tag teams mix it up routinely. Most of the stuff we manufacture for the cameras is just manufactured. They know about each other. Are there real rivalries? Absolutely. There's real money on the line, and these fights are actual fights. We don't know the final result unless the combatants themselves or an outside force attempts to fix it, and, well, the JSA has very strict policies about fraud on such a scale, and thus we ensure that we police that as much as possible. Can't be perfect. Try to catch everything. So, general rule of thumb, yeah, they're relatively friendly. Does anyone want anything to drink, by the way? I've got, let's see, Behemoth energy drink and, like, flavors. I'll
have the energy drink. You don't even need to fish a list. That'll do.
There you go. And he literally just grabs one of the cans and tosses it to you. This very over-engineered, polished black, really, like, over-the-top, like, font Behemoth energy drink. Stops your heart with 3 sips. And it's, literally, it's not, and, like, right below there's, like, a little asterisk, and the very back of it is just, like, doesn't actually stop your heart in 3 sips. However, you shouldn't drink more than 3 cans a day. Like, gives you, like, the nutritional facts tell you that this is less of a drink and more rocket. But it's, when you crack it open, it smells kind of like if cotton candy once knew what a blueberry tasted like and did its best to imitate it. And so you crack it open, there's a hiss, effervescent, like, scent, and you can even see that, like, it's sort of designed where, like, even a click can drink it. Like, you can actually tear the can open sideways, and when you do, it sort of becomes like a pad for a click to soak it in their abdomen. So, like, it's actually pretty well engineered for a horrifying, soul-destroying energy drink. So he turns around and just sort of flops on what looks like a couch. There's plenty of, like, more humanoid-style chairs around the space, but there's also a lot of click-like furniture. This room's clearly designed with him in mind.
Bit selfish, but fine.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of the idea. We do our best to try to encourage them to be friendly. The underground tournament circuit, where real rivalry lives. Up here, it's competitive.
Okay.
As far as the mech, if any of you want to see it, a contender is right down the hallway, logged with security. Go down the elevator, the green-marked elevator. It'll take you down to the actual floor. Normally, we would have it locked away inside of the... this instance, it would probably be usually in a macrodome, getting all set up, but at the moment, the macroseum is for active combatants, and so we've logged it with our private security here to ensure that no one could tamper with it on the staff. It is under very heavy guard.
Do we need to check in anywhere before we go?
We know exactly who you all are. You're already registered in our systems. Orin Sulfanovalian was kind enough to make contact with us in advance and let us know when you were arriving. So, we're all squared away on that.
Just out of curiosity, who owns the mech? Is it Hammer Tide or is it the corporation? Is it you guys who owns it?
Hammertide owned the mech. As a general rule of thumb, we encourage our fighters to invest in their own equipment and purchase it as they could. We are willing to loan out them for small, like, exhibition matches and such, but given that most of these mechs don't actually see real combat, instead they are scanned and they fight in the virtual space, the mechs themselves don't take much damage. So they're usually more of a showpiece than anything else. Hammertide did own it, and has owned his mech for quite some time. At the moment, however, considering he had no next of kin, and, well, we're trying to find out.
I mean, I could have it if no one else was called dibs. I could call dibs.
You would have to go through a sizable portion of championship circuit and Letali's extensive legal power before you.
So I'm here for a few days. I've got nothing on. I'm not doing it. Are we doing anything? Do we have plans?
You're exceedingly busy, Louis.
Oh, we're busy.
No.
Okay, call me. We'll work smart.
If it enters an open auction, I'll be the first to let you know, but be aware, there's some fans out there that would pay extraordinarily high for a surprisingly mediocrely maintained gilder suit. So, just bear that in mind.
Does that sound so perverted? Just like pay extra for the sweat inside?
Well, basically.
Listen, do we have Hammertide's bathwater? We could make bank. Just saying.
Hammer sweat.
No. You still call it Hammer Tide.
Yeah.
Hammer Tide deodorant. Smells like the man himself.
That is horrifying. Yes.
No, surely you go to the washing machine business and call it Hammer Tide Pods. Where's my motive legacy for that joke on me? I'm expecting one, okay? Like, I'm just saying.
If anyone's gonna get it, I have to give it to Mossy, because Mossy literally came up with using Hammer Tide. Yeah. Like, it's so good. But so he pauses for a second. I do want you to know, also, I have taken the liberty of booking each of you accommodation here in the Spire. Would not have to leave if you wouldn't like to sleep. Of course, you can access your ship at any time. At any point, you can feel free to simply call this number, and he literally just flips on his wrist link to you guys, and all of your wrist links ping. You get a new contact, and it just literally says, New Letali Chauffeur. And they'll pick you up any way you'd like, anywhere in the entirety of Letali Bay, and take you wherever you need to go. So,
very generous of you, thank you.
Well, I'd like to solve this quickly as reasonably possible, and seems only right that I help you move about discreetly and efficiently. There are plenty of ways to do so with money. However, you are already doing a great service for the people of the Bay and the corporations of Letali. And I feel the very least I can do for movement. So,
appreciate it.
Yes. Also, if you want, all of our facilities are at your disposal. Your wrist links should give you access to anywhere in Letali Bay, including diversionary things. So if you wanted to go to any one of our many esteemed parks or theme locations, the water park, Deep Six, I hear is particularly fun this time of year. They opened up a recent new water slide called the Brain Twister, but any of those are open to you. I would advise, if you go into the plank, please be careful. It can be rough and tumble.
I appreciate your
I think
concern.
we'll be fine.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I didn't get my money by interfering in the skilled labor of others. I'll get out of your way. That said, I am open to any questions any of you might have at any point.
How did you get your money?
Mining.
In terms of those details about the current investigation, are those to be sent to us? Do we have access to those now, or?
Yes. I almost forgot.
I think if I asked you this, I've waited.
You have been very patient, and now that we're in the one room I can guarantee isn't bugged, I'll tell you, We have looked extensively into it, and by extensively into it, we have sent 3 groups of investigators into the space, dusted for CSI. As I understand, you might have one of our only pieces of physical evidence on board your ship. Is that correct? He makes a little gesture with one of his paddles to indicate something. You know what he's indicating.
Yeah. Yes, it has been an interesting object of research.
Well, other than that, here's all we know. Hematite was found in this particular quadrant, and I'm going to just throw out a random string of coordinates. It's meaningless to me and you, but it'll tell you exactly where your Voyagers need to go. In the plank. Towards the edge, near where a number of dive bars are, in particular one uniquely famous dive bar attached to the UTC. As far as where he died and where he was found, we're not sure where he died, but we do know where he was found. No trail of blood left behind. We aren't sure if it's where he was killed or attacked, but it's very likely that's the same location. It appears to be a pipeworks nearby. Technically not even a normal walking pathway. It's not a gantry-way, it's a maintenance gantry. Exposed to hard vacuum. He had to wait there inside of his atmosphere.
Maintenance meaning that there are official blueprints I can look at?
That's where we run into issues. I have blueprints of the entire station, if you'd so like. However, the problem you're running into is the plank is highly improvised. This maintenance conduit, like much of the structures down there, was, in fact, improvised infrastructure.
People tend to follow the same patterns, though.
They do, but if you're looking for a blueprint, I'm not sure I can give you much help. You have access to it here, and he slides his wrist link across at you, and you get a detailed blueprint that looks exceptionally clean, and not at all like the rusty mess you passed through to get up here.
That's okay. She'll take notes on it as they're going around.
When he was found, his suit was pierced. There was blood all over a pipe behind him and the interior of his suit. But more important than that, there wasn't much physical evidence. See, the issue with a hard vacuum murder is that vacuum kills living things. It's blood, cells, and it boils it away very quickly. You can't really get a good sample off of a blood sample out there, unless it's in large abundance. And even if you do, it's not really blood at that point. Really more sludge. Largely molecular sludge at that point. Burned off. So
No, most biological integrity is rendered pretty much useless under those conditions.
Yes. So CSI isn't particularly helpful. We found that hand nearby. We didn't find his hammer. Very likely, he used it to defend himself. Could tell that he clearly had fought, given his injuries, scrapes on his arms and elbows, contusions on the back, and as well as also the back of his head.
Which means that his attacker probably has some injuries as well. Nobody reported into a hospital, I'm assuming, but that's a good place to start.
Most of the people down in the plank don't even use hospitals. They use local clinics. And they're usually pop-ups that they run themselves. Again, underground fight clubs will get hurt and die all the time. Do their best to keep it below board, but we don't know. So, that's all I really have for you. By the time we found him, he was dead for what appeared to be 7 to 8 hours, according to what little we could find. But again, exposure to hard vacuum makes that very difficult. Not like he was in the open air where cells can live and endure afterward. It accelerates the time frame of death quite.
And I'm assuming due to the unique infrastructure of that area, there's no helpful form of surveillance in the nearby areas.
If there is, none of them told us, and our searches didn't reveal any. If anyone saw what happened, they saw it personally and they haven't come.
Well, yeah, I would assume that means whoever attacked him has the power to shut them up. So we'll find them if they do exist.
I trust you. I hope you can provide me with answers. We have 7 days until the tournament happens. The actual Letali tournament. 7 days. 7 days, this place will be packed. Over the next week, we are expecting a huge amount of additional traffic. People, tourists will come flooding in. Every day, the population of this station will double until the actual final event. And then it will be chaos. I guarantee you, it's a lovely party. A party is a great place to hide. And haven't found this guy in 7 days. I don't think we'll ever find them again.
No, the ensuing departure of all the tourism and the excess people would be a perfect time to abandon ship. So,
Precisely. So, that's all I have for you. If you want to go into the plank and find answers, one guy you can talk to by the name of Chane Terensky. Thane Uren Sky. He is the current owner and operator of Arrow's Last Stand. He might be someone you can talk to. I don't know much about Hammer Tide's old championship, but if anyone would know, it's him. And if I can be so bold, you asked if there was anyone who would benefit from betting on Hammer Tide's death earlier. No one person would benefit. However, there's one corporation that would be completely fine getting us out of the entertainment business. It would be Euripides Stellar. I didn't say this. I obviously, as a member of the JSA's board, have nothing but respect for my fellow colleagues, and would never imagine such a horrific and heinous act of corporate sabotage. Said, idiots. Right.
absolutely flat look of just like she doesn't say words, but the look is that look like, excuse me? Do I look like an idiot?
She's like, Becky will actually grab Zenith and be like, I have a thing. I need your help. Come on. Like she's gonna lead her towards the mech where he already indicated they could go.
You need access to Hammer Tide's body. He's currently down in the morgue.
Thank you, yes. Sort of pulls back as she's dragged off. Because, yeah. I want to play jigsaw with the hand. Sorry.
You can investigate the dead body after. I need your help hacking.
Oh boy, hacking.
My fate.
All right, so sounds like we have 2 of our members, Zenith and Becky, stepping away for various reasons. Magnir, Louis, what are you doing?
Do we have access to some people? Spearhead and Vice Grip. By access to, I mean, can we arrange a chat with them?
You absolutely can. In fact, actually, if you want, they should both be in their suites in the building right now. We keep our thoroughbreds somewhere safe, usually, for where they rest. We both have suites in separate parts of the spire. Here, their codes. And he sends them to both of you two. Feel free to go talk to them anytime you'd like. Worst case, you could always get in contact with their agents. They'll tell you exactly where they are. They both said that they're willing to speak to you if you need. They're not particularly keen on it either. You are also apparently a little bit of a mech head, aren't you, Louis?
Well, I'm a fan, you know. I know some things. I have a mech suit. If you know you need a replacement for this champion guy, you know, yeah. I know a few moves here and there. You know, I've been practicing.
I have much respect for every Voyager out there. However, there's a vast difference between mech fights and combat you see. oftentimes. Not just fighting, show. Even if you would go into those rings and hold your ground, whether or not you'd be entertaining enough to watch or not. Question, that's not why I brought it up. I brought it up because you should also know that several members of the UTC, the underground circuit, I understand, have also been killed. I don't know all the details about it, but if you're heading into the plank, ask after Richter and Avalanche.
Great names. Great names. Yeah. Very hardcore.
Louis, make me an intellect roll just off the top of your head.
1 second. I'm spelling the word avalanche incorrectly.
And then just note bio break next chance we get. Just note bio break next chance we get.
Yep, I'm down with that. Because I know we've been going for quite some time, and I was going to suggest it.
My brain is short circuit. You said intellect, didn't you?
Yes. I'll let you add a +3 situational awareness because you have a lot of knowledge in this regard.
I do. Intellect is another D6. What a consistent thing. Go. Go. Explosions.
Oh, we got 11 explosions.
One. So 7, and you said +3, so that's a 10.
Richter and Avalanche are two of the higher-ranking members of the Underground Walker fight circuit. And you would know that having watched so much of it the past couple of days, neither of them have released any recent fights or any recent footage from their fights for the past couple of days.
Their TikToks have been surprisingly quiet. Okay.
A lot of people are starting to raise questions about what's up with them. And with that, I think we should take a little bio break because I hear the need. So, we'll be back, Voyagers, in just a little bit. Give us, what do you guys say, 5 minutes? 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere between those two numbers is great.
5 minutes. We'll go with 5, and if we need more, we'll take more. See you all shortly. Hello everybody, we're about to return to the stream. I just wanted to take a very brief moment to thank all my amazing viewers out there right now. This has been a resounding, incredible success returning back to Twitch, and I want to thank all of you guys who are currently watching. Thank you. Also, a huge thank you to Paul. I appreciate you for the 200 bits at the Let's Go mark for an hour. And also, Paul, thank you so much for the new follow. I super appreciate you. It means the world. And also, on top of that, a huge thank you, as always, to my amazing patrons. I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, a different Paul. Yes, Paul STL. Thank you very much. A huge thank you to Paul STL for the follow. Thank you. And also a huge shout out, as ever, to my amazing patrons. At Tier 1, we have the incredible JJ Cray, Jenna, Atlas, and Ampersand. At Tier 2, we have Necronomus and Souls Rolls. Thank you guys for your constant support. And at Tier 3 of Mossy the Mighty and Heinrich the Heroic, thank you both for holding the roof above my heads. It means the world. And for anyone who wants to see my webcomics, learn about Legacy, or any of the other things I'm doing, including my schedules on YouTube and Twitch, you can feel free to follow me at patreon.com/LastOmnitect. You don't even need to pay to get access to my full webcomic catalog, as well as also a bunch of, my scheduling. Every week I post up a new schedule, so you guys know when and where I'm going live. And also, if you want to follow me, you get my webcomics 2 weeks early, and a bunch of exclusive content, and you get shouted out live on stream. So a huge thank you to everyone who's out there participating and helping me with that. Thank you guys so much. And without further ado, let us return back to Legacy First Flight. Everything should be all popping in. I love how everyone's cams flicker on one at a time. It always makes me very pleased. So, we are now back. We're live, everybody. Sure, whatever you say, whatever you do, everyone's going to see it. So...
Oh, shit, bugger.
Son of a gun. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We're not PG-13 here. We're in the middle of a murder mystery. So,
Someone got impaled.
I keep seeing Olaf in my head. Oh, look, I've been impaled.
Yeah.
I've been impaled.
I've been impaled. So, what are you folks gonna be doing? Is my next question.
I'm going to go interview the other fighters.
Okay, so you're going into the plank, or you're not in the plank, you're in the spire. You want to go talk to... Alright, so you want to go talk to Vice Grip and Spearhead.
Yeah.
And... Vaughn, Becky, what were you about to do?
If Zenith is open to it, hacking the mech of Hammertide and actually trying to find back channels, hidden files, but also on the side maybe some JSA info as well, like in their servers.
So Zenith would be looking at general information that's being stored on it. If there's any signs, any sort of if these suits monitor any sorts of signs of life, to get kind of pinpoint shit a bit more with that as best she can. And then, yeah, see what back channels she can find into other places, because sneaky.
Okay, so you two are going to be hacking. I'm guessing in the same place where, you're going to be investigating the suit is where it is? Okay, so you're both going to the garage. Magnir, where are you going and what are you doing?
He was actually going to stay with the director because there's a few more questions he wants to ask him. Sure
thing. Okay. So we'll pick up next then with Magnir. So we'll finish this scene with Magnir here. So you're still inside the room with the director, and for the most part, he's just kind of still chilling at this point. He's got himself what appears to be one of those energy drinks, but he's also grabbed about a shot of gin and just mixed it into that. And he's just sort of soaking that on his chest to absorb it through at the moment. Yarrow slowly turns to look at you, Magnir. Everyone else is sort of filed out, and you're in your hard suit and very visibly obvious that you're present. Yes, what can I do for you, Magnir?
You hear as the front of the hard suit opens as he exits the hard suit.
love the hardware there. I know I gave Louis, right? I gave Louis some shit about not having flair, but that is exactly the kind of shit we look for.
You know we have to do what we can, as we're not exactly easily offensive or defensive.
You're not wrong. I mean, I think our people often get a bit of a bad rep for being soft, but I would like to remind everyone, especially other clique, that it's the clique who rule the stars. Sure, the rest of the unions, they're important and relevant. The Acres have their big fleet, Humanity has all their guns and their mechs, the Anazali have their super advanced ancient technology, but you know what we have over all of them? 1 trillion individuals. No other species comes even close. We're 1/3 of the galactic population of ourselves. Sure, we might not have the blades and the teeth and the giant forearms, might not be able to survive getting thrown out of a building, or be the inventors of world-bending tech, but we move the stars. That has a quality all of its own. I get the feeling, though, you're not just here to jaw tackle about the fragility of cliquish life, however. Galactic scene.
No. You said that you don't have his hammer. Yes, not with. All you have is that you have you in the plank that you're not allowed to commit to. As
Did you say that again? It sort of like got modeled down. I couldn't hear the sentence up table.
You're a smart click. I'm sure you have contacts in the plank and would have heard rumors if his hammer had surfaced or if anybody had seen it.
Yes. Yeah, if somebody had seen it, I would know. And I would reclaim it. As I mentioned before, Hammertide died without next of kin. Means, until we find his will, all of his goods are to be administrated by the new Letali Corporation. That includes his personal effects, especially lucrative ones, collector's items, like that hammer would be. Very keen on getting it back, if we can. Even if we don't get to keep it. Hammertide was... he was a good man. He deserved better than what he got.
With that thought, he sort of looks around, just the two of them. You say the Hammertide has been here on the professional circuit for a while, and as much as the PR says he's come up from the bottom and come from somewhere different, was there ever a different pilot for that mech? One that may want it back?
No, not that I'm aware, but an interesting thought experiment. You certainly wouldn't be the first, that's for sure. I don't know as much about his history as I would, but I do know he was originally from the world of Verde. He arrived here with a couple of other friends as part of a Gilder mining crew, and his mech, oh, it's a Gilder mining frame. We've been telling him for years he should trade it in. We could have gotten him a line of credit on a new vassal any day, and that thing kicks the shit out of those older Gilder frames. Da Vinci's are reliable, but vassals win wars. Doesn't matter, though, he didn't want it. So that mech has been his as long as we've known. But it changes.
I only have one more question that might yield something.
What's that?
From what Louis spouted, from his research and interest in your entertainment side here, it's not very often you move up into the larger leagues. Would someone move up quicker if there was suddenly an opening? Someone that may be the top of the bottom moving up if a prize fighter disappeared.
That is possible. Very possible. Whenever someone dies in the big tournament circuit, we do, in fact, go out of our way, send out the scouts, and find someone. It doesn't happen very often. This is the first major death we've really had. Most of them just step out. Retire, they get money, major or minor injury, family crisis, who the fuck knows. Life is life, and it takes a toll on everyone. The first time we've had someone die. But whenever it happens, we send out more talent scouts. And the league is expanding. It always has been. But we're always on the lookout for good talent. Every once in a while, the corporation throws us one of their elite guards, says they have a flair for the dramatic. Sure, we can make that work. Leave money behind those deals, and they end up in the circuit. But every once in a while, we find a real junkyard dog who's got the right stuff. Hammertide was one of them. Was that guy. Not gonna lie, there's part of a reason why we had him, why we took him into the upper circuit. We hold tryouts every year. We every once in a while sponsor like sure circuits, small ones, more regulated than the underground one. Wait for a lot of the underground folks to hop back in and show off what they can do. That's how we found Hammertide. The fact that Hammertide's also a guilder. The fact that his family's been poor. Oh, that he ended up there. He has no next of kin. He's a 24-year-old. Technically, at the time, he actually wasn't 24. He got pulled into the circuit when he was 19. He's been with us for 5 years. 5 years. He was fighting at least 3 years before that, but the underground circuit doesn't really have an age rating. So, yeah. Is it possible? Sure. I understand that when he was in the underground tournament circuit, he had a rival he was constantly sparring with. What was their name again? Minus. So, if you want to look them up, maybe they'd be interested. Not gonna lie, had a couple scouts talking about them to me. They're probably on the short list. Unless
this is why I asked without, and he sort of gestures to the hard suit that stands, without appearances, but to the point. If Midas is a name that has come up from previous history and to you now trying to make waves and move up, seems oddly convenient.
I'm trying not to spread rumors, kind of thing. A lot of bad blood between the underground circuit and the championship circuit. Poach their talent. Is. Whoever gets to the top of their tournament ends up auditioning for ours. And, well, they're good enough, they get in. It's a lot of underground fans pissy. Hammertide's one of the few folks that managed to get in and still not piss off his underground friends, so. But, yeah, give him a look. Maybe. I don't know.
This is why the conversation is between me and you and here, and without anybody else getting hold of that thought pattern.
I appreciate your discretion. I heard Voyagers are good at that. Glad to see it's true.
I wouldn't say I'm personally discreet. I kind of stand out.
Well,
I'm very good at what I do.
all I need. Anything else I can do for you, Duraleth?
No. happy as I am, I'm sure you're aware of what I will actually be doing if I need to. And as he says that, he kind of sort of moves back in as the hard suit then reseals up around him.
Of course. For all, Voyagers aren't the only ones who can be discreet. Do me a favor. If you have to kill anybody down there, we don't want to find a body. Slowly turns in his chair to look back out over the stars. The door behind you open.
He just sort of nods, heads out of the office into the hallway, and just sort of wanders for a little bit.
Cool. Alright. We're gonna flop from you over to Paul. Paul, you're next.
Howdy.
So, Louis.
Is it a long journey from where I am to where... And I just want to clarify, because there's some contention. I'm going to go talk to Spearhead and... I better keep calling him Pincer, because I haven't remembered his goddamn name.
Vice Grip.
Vice Grip. I'm talking to them. We're aware of that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. Both of the two of them are actually currently in the building. So, let me...
On the way, can I stop by a merchandising stand? Is there one of those between where I am and where they are?
Oh, 100% there is. Louis, you are currently standing in the middle of the nervous center of the new Letali Broadcasting Corporation. Technically, that would be the tower immediately to the right of the spire you're currently in, is the new Letali Broadcasting firm. However, throughout the entire thing here, every other floor, it feels like, there's a little kiosk, automatic. There's no people there, and if there is, it's usually an overworked-looking, like, attendant who's standing there in full merch, just handing the stuff out to guests and people who are here. Big VIPs, that kind of thing. And as soon as you approach, you can see... Make the roll. I'm about to create a creature. I'm about to create a human. So, a human wearing a baseball cap and black t-shirt, and he is covered head to toe in LTC merch. Like, every ounce of it has the LTC logo on it. There's not a single thing he's wearing that isn't branded. His sneakers are LTC standard. His pants are LTC track pants. His shirt has the undefeated, unbowed, unbroken People's Champion.
That scene from Hercules where the demons are just like slurping the Hercules merch.
It is. It 100% is. Like, you can see there's a huge wall of merch behind him of all the different champions over the years. And of not just of the LTC, mind you, but the LTC is very much forward in it. There's even like a couple of other mech fighting like tournament circuits that are like professionally sponsored in other parts of the galaxy that are present on that. But the majority of it is local LTC, and of that, you can see that roughly 60% of the wall this guy's standing in front of is just covered in Hammertide merch. Like, old Hammertide merch, new Hammertide merch, Hammertide, the unbowed and unbroken, like, black and white, the same image you saw on the billboard before, where it's very clearly, like, they're taking as much lemonade out of this lemon as they possibly can. And nothing as you approach...
nothing improves profit like death.
Yeah, like, and you can see the guy, he's like a 16-year-old guy. He's got bits all over, a little bit of, like, brown hair, cutting like sort of a little bit over his head. Like, you can see a little bit, like, a bang hanging loose out of his hat. You can see he's got, like, what looks like an actual, like, he's got a what's it called again? A wallet chain hanging from his belt, and the pants are a little bit lower than they probably should. Hello? What can I get for you, sir?
Hi, real quick, do you have any Vice Grip, like, t-shirts or anything like that?
Yeah, they're back here. Hold on. Just gotta And he just pushes one of the boxes over, and there's a thud, and you can see, like, he's got, like, stacked Cambros of plastic boxes, like little plastic crates, not too big for a person to carry, but filled with merch, and each of them has, like, a different logo on it, and just flips past a couple of them and eventually pulls one out.
Oh.
No.
And,
No, shouldn't be.
It's my screen, never mind, ignore me.
Oh yeah, you're good. He pulls out, like, a bunch of shirts. We've got foam spears. I've got a couple of baseball caps and different species. We got the Shrike accommodation, which might work for you with your uniquely shaped Sylvan head, and also a couple of shirts, including.
Yes, nailed it. Yes. When I asked for a t-shirt, it was my fault. I wasn't clear enough. T-shirt.
Yes, sir. Would you like it in small or medium, large, extra large?
Large is fine. Large is fine. I'm 9'7", tail.
All right.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We only have extra large and medium.
Sure.
Okay. Would you like a medium or an extra large?
An extra large, I think. Probably.
All right, here you go, sir. And he hands you.
Like, how do you run out of larges? Like, you've got a big fine, whatever. Yeah,
they never get us enough larges. They sell out immediately, and then everyone asks for the larges, and they ask me to check in the back, and there is no back. It's a fucking cardboard stand. Anyway, in addition to that, we also have these lanyards here. Take a couple. They normally be on discount, but, like, everyone's getting Hammer Tide merch, so...
Yeah, okay, great, cheers, appreciate that. How much do you need? How much is this?
Run your wrist link, it'll charge it to your account. Oh! You see, like, there's a little ping on like, the holographic screen in front of him, and his eyes, like, widen a little bit. Oh! VIP! Free of charge! Also, here, you get a free cup! And he, like, reaches down and he pulls out this big gulp-ass cup, like one of these giant, like, refrigerated thermos things with a handle, and it just has Hammer Tide, the Unbroken.
I'm gonna give you the money that I would have paid, because, like, we support human workers here. We don't allow robots to take our jobs, so just take a tip of, 20% of the free thing you give me, but with actual money. Also, this is way longer of a conversation I needed with you, good sir, but really, entrepreneurial of you. I'm gonna go now, though.
All right. Have a great day, sir. And thank you for your generosity.
Bye.
That was cute.
Yeah,
as recurring NPC. I'll see you later.
I love my ass.
I love the difference that if Mognir walks past one of these places in his wandering and they try and do any of this, he's just going to tell him to fuck off.
But then we wouldn't have heard that voice.
Fuck off.
So yeah, you walk on off.
I'm going to change into my Vice Grip t-shirt and my casual clothes as I head towards the interview or wherever they're waiting for me.
Okay, yeah. They're right now down inside of... There's actually a gym. So I'm going to say the first person that's available to meet with you is Vice Grip.
That's convenient. That's whose outfit I got.
Yep, exactly. There's Vice Grip, and the other one, Spearhead, said that they're willing to meet you within like 15 minutes. They just need to get out of their bathtub. So like right now they're kind of stuck. But the agent's like, he's taking his ablution, so be ready. So yeah, it's not that far. It's like literally the floor below you. And
someone told them the cops were coming, and they were like, "You got to get ready."
Kinda. So FBI knocks on your door, you're ready. Or you tell them to fuck off without a warrant is the proper answer.
So, I want to remove all evidence. That's why I wanted a t-shirt. To remove all evidence that I'm any level of officer of the law, any Voyager identification. I want it gone. I do not want this person to know that I am the person sent to interview them, so to speak.
Okay. All right, then. That's fair. So, if that's the case, I'm going to let you know, given what you're wearing, you would probably just look like your standard VIP visitor that comes here. Yeah. So, like, I'm not going to make you make an intellect roll. You're smart enough to know this. You've been watching this enough. Friends, family of, like, board members, stuff like that, big, like, name folks who get, like, rewards for working for the company for a while. every once in a while they'll get the VIP treatment and be able to show up and get these kind of like behind-the-scenes tours. So if you just like walk around on your own, you would just look like a VIP visitor that's sort of like slipped their handler and just like looking around. So yeah, that would work. So you get to the actual door, and like the gym itself, when you step inside, is this big, hefty chamber. It is like, the only real way to describe it is it's marbly. All the walls are like that slight off yellow marble, like off white marble. You've seen a lot of places with like a slight golden tinge because of the lighting around it. The floor is carpeted. The walls have basically person-sized mirrors everywhere. They're like the perfect like exercise mirror room. There's a whole collection of exercise equipment for many different species. And at the far side, you can actually see Vice Grip, who Vice Grip is a female Shrike. She is big, like most Shrike are, but even by Shrike standards, she is big. Most Shrike start at 8 foot, and most female Shrike tend to be a tiny bit larger than male Shrike at the end of the day, by like a couple of inches. Vice Grip is like 11 feet tall at 95, which is nuts. Most Shrike get to 10 feet when they're in their like maturity phase, which is like 200 to 300 years old, and they can get even bigger if they get into geriatric, where they just continue to grow. She's achieved that size, and what is effectively the equivalent of like young adulthood for a Shrike. And she's currently at the far end on what appears to be a weightlifting machine, and it like, you don't know what the numbers are on it just from this distance, but it's a lot of weights. There's no one else in the room with her. It's completely empty. And you just hear her going like, "Ugh. Yes, come in."
Oh my god, it's Vice Grip! I cannot believe I have found you! Oh my god, I have been your fan for the longest time. Oh my god, this is an honor. Oh my, no, don't stop on my account. Like, oh my god, it has been a dream of mine to meet you one day. And I've got all your merch, and he shows off the Vice Grip t-shirt that he's recently gotten, but she doesn't know. I've got like all your merch. I'm so sorry. I am allowed in here. Well, I know the door let me in here at the very
You're
least.
good. I've seen people like you wandering the tower before. Let me guess, someone's cousin, right? Ugh.
You know what? As smart as you are, strong. Honestly, Vice Grip, it is astounding. I've seen so many of your matches. The way you took on the Mitchell and the Mandolin Claw a few years ago, it was great. Your championship match that's happening in a week's time, I've been thrilled. I've been following your career for so long. This is absolutely wonderful. Please, has she put the weights down?
Yeah, she like
I'm gonna take
slowly
the hand and be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
and like drops the weights. And again, it's a machine, so they're like under control. They're like controlled, but the fall is still hard enough and heavy enough where you feel the ground under you, the floor under you shakes. Make me an awareness check fast.
Fast. I can't do fast. Yeah. Panicking.
Yes.
Awareness is A. +3 intelligence. Man, I need to start putting things in intelligence. Jesus Christ.
I misheard that as 8. And I was just like, what?
8. I rolled an 8 for intelligence.
Okay. So, let's see. Yeah. That's enough. To immediately see. She was at that point, she was benching about 900 pounds, which is, again, astounding, even by Shrike standards. That's pretty crazy. She basically was just lifting a person in a full hard suit as like her weight lift. And she steps out and just sort of stretches a little bit. You can hear pops. She's wearing like athletic wear, and it's very human-like athletic wear, hilariously, because of the way that a tank top sports bra works. She just sort of has a hole big enough for both her arms. And other than that,
you said arms. I was very confused.
Yeah, because she does have two sets of arms, 4 arms. Like most female Shrike, she has a bit more of an underbite than an overbite for her jaw, and she has a crown of like 6 horns that are all like curled slightly back, kind of like goat horns. and a whole bunch of like quills tied back. She is soaked with sweat and literally steaming as she steps forward. Right, little man. Well, it's nice to meet you. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking you?
I'm so sorry. I'm all a bluster with meeting someone. So, like, oh my good lord, Louis. Sorry, Louis is my name. Hi, how you doing?
Louis.
Yes.
Nice.
Hello. And whichever arm she extends for me to shake, because I know there could be an awkwardness with forearms. We'll find out.
Yes,
yes,
one of her
hello.
lower right
Hello.
arms. Yeah. Yes, pleasure to meet you, Louis. Normally you folks are accompanied by someone. Yes.
I won't lie. So the person that was with me, they wanted to do a whole tour of the building, and I didn't really care. I just want to be here, talk to you. And listen, I don't know if you've heard of us, but I've actually started the Script fan club page, 372 followers at this point, and I've been telling everybody that I actually might have a chance to meet you. Do you think, and I know it's asking a lot, I'm really, really sorry, do you think you could answer some questions, maybe give me like an inside track? It would do me so much street cred, and I'm sure you understand.
I'm happy to do so for a good.
Thank you.
Especially someone who actually wants to talk. Usually
yes.
they come in, they try to take photographs, and they post it on their pages, and it's kind of gross, you know? Just because I'm big doesn't mean I don't still appreciate a little bit of, hi, how you doing? What's your name? What do you like? Before they try to get in your pants. Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know what? Same. I understand completely. No, I just want to talk. Don't want to get into your pants. I don't think they'd fit me anyway. If we have time for a photo, I won't say no. But yeah,
We
just
have
want to know.
time. A couple minutes before my minders come back. So yeah, hit me with your questions. Just be aware though, when they do arrive, I'm going to pretend as though as if you broke in. So, I'm not going to like have them arrest you.
Okay, we'll
I
see you
didn't
on an
invite
interview then.
Yes.
1 week from today, you battle for the crown of the year. Your main contender at this point is Spearhead. How do you feel about Spearhead behind the scenes and in front of the crowd? What do you think of Spearhead?
Make me a negotiation roll. Or better yet, I'm gonna say, make me 2 rolls. A subterfuge roll, because you are absolutely lying to her face about who you are. And a negotiation roll, because the question you're asking is a legitimate question.
Okay. Subterfuge is just intelligence with no modification.
Roll to simp.
So that is a 4 both times. 4 on subterfuge. And the other one was negotiation, wasn't it? That is a bit better. Willpower, that is. Oh, a D10. I can't do that. A D10, that's you. And a D6, because I'm feeling lucky. Where did my D10 go? There. I'm going to use a Mote of Legacy to re-roll my D10. I think
You can re-roll the whole roll. So yes, by all means.
Okay. In which case, I will do that then. That's a good idea.
To go.
I got 8 plus my. What did I say? Plus 2. So that's a 10 in total.
Okay. And nice. All right. So she goes back to lifting one of the machines again. This one's kind of more of like a traditional up and pump machine, as opposed to where she was doing almost like a back lift before with one of her arms. Again, you didn't hear from me. However, I will admit that Spearhead's a bit of a prick outside of the ring. I'm ultimately, as a person, I suppose, but he's not the kind of dude you'd go drinking with or anything. We have tried many times to invite him to. Just kind of fucks off after the ring. I don't know why. Try not to hold against him. As a fighter, he's fine. Dangerous. Got crazy reach with that fucking spear. Annoying as hell. But, other than that, I suppose seems fine as a fighter. Dangerous. Very skilled. Patient. Annoyingly relentless. As a person, patient. if he chooses to be annoyingly relentless and a little standoffish. Hard to get an interview with him, I would say. Harder still to keep an interview. But
he does give off prick vibes. I hope you won't tell him that I said that either. I'm no fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Thank you, though, for the inside track. That's I was gonna say I won't publish these, but I'm doing it for my fan group. So I'll keep it a secret. Thank you for that. And listen, elephant in the room, Hammerhead.
Hammertide?
Yeah. Technically, the odds favourite for a week's time. Less so now. Have you released a statement?
That's one way to put it.
And this one is just between me and you. I just want to know how your brain works, processes these sort of changes of circumstances. As a prospective fighter in the distant future, very long after you retire, I'm sure. How do you deal with these sort of day-by-day changes?
So, there's a brief pause as you ask that question, and Vice Grip lets the weights fall. Again, then just another crash as 700 pounds hits the floor. He stands there for a minute, sort of looks into the mid-space with her eyeless face. Make me a negotiation roll again. This one is...
I might not get it. Negotiation is still willpower. Look at that consistency. 10, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Their expression seems very melancholy as you bring them up. They were kind of quietly confident, or loudly confident. They had a very they have a very strong kind of I don't need your permission to exist kind of energy. And this whole conversation has been basically them continuing to work out in spite of the company health. But this seems to have gotten past that, ability to separate out. And as they sort of stare, you can see very real sadness expression. They're not fully crestfallen, but a little bit of it gets through the armored facade. Hammertide was good, man. I was really pulling for him this tournament. I wanted to beat him, of course I do. Doesn't. But I wanted to beat him in combat. I didn't leave House Vrax looking for a combat to have it end before I could. Our last match ended with Hammertide offering effectively a gentleman's ending to what would have been a relatively humiliating match for me. And I haven't forgotten it. Hammertide is the kind of man that fame can't change. And that is a very rare kind of person. I mourn his death. I hope I win. I would prefer to win. But I would gladly lost this year if he could still be here.
I'm in awe at your grace, humility, probably not, humility, and poise in moments like this. I do have 2 more questions for anyone comes that's going to throw me out and put handcuffs on me that isn't you. The way you spoke about Hammertide, was there any potential for romance outside of the ring?
Okay, now you're going a little far, small man. But I can be real with you. No. Hammertide was... What is it that... all the humans talk about it? so many words for it. Aromantic? Aromantic, that's the word. Not an ounce of that. He was a friend, and I believe he was ace as well. There's a history there I never dug into. I didn't want to dig into. Well, incorrect to do. And again, not everyone can handle this much. And she shrugs with one pair of arms as the other pair of arms bench, like, again, 700 pounds behind her, over her back. Is little intimidating for most non-Shriekish people. And I get that. But no, there wasn't. He was a good man. We had many fun drinking nights at the bar, throwing darts. They even arm wrestled me at one point and ended up in a cast. I'd say you should ask him, but
I'll try. Final question, and I don't want you to. I don't know how to end that sentence. What don't I want? I don't want you to think I'm just curious about your friendships, like I say, with Hammertide. There are people talking that I've spoken to, other fighters saying that you were the last person that most people are aware of to see Hammertide alive. There's some water cooler talk amongst the other fighters that might be true. Like, do you have any opinions or thoughts on that? Like, how likely is that true, basically, is what I'm asking.
their expression as your sentence goes on begins to darken a lot. And it goes from friendly and warm to piercing is the only way to describe it. Shrike especially can gaze at people in a way that literally makes you feel like you're being seen through, and you can feel the vibration of her melon focused on you as her echolocation cuts through you. She's literally staring daggers at you. She leans down, crouches down to get onto your level, and it's horrifying, the size of her. You realize even with as large as your head is, she could wrap her jaws around your entire head and close them and sever it off. Probably a little issue. And as she leans down, gets very close to you. All right, little. This part is real, and it is for you. But if you wish to publish this on your blog, you can too. I don't know who the last person to see Hammertide alive was. Maybe it was me, but that would have been days ago, before his death. It would not have been me. But if it was, if anyone were to ever assume I'd hurt that beautiful man, I would kill them outside of my neck. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Good.
Big fan.
She slowly straightens up and then grins. All right, now get out of here. Because, whoever the fuck you are, you're not that. You're not friends with someone on the board. If you were, they would have told you not to ask me such piercing questions. So, security is going to come from the right. Go to the left. Have a good day. And she settles back down as you can hear the clank clank of the metal rising again, and the door closes behind you. And coming from the right, you can see a couple of security officers just walk by, hold a wrist link up from across the hall, and like it just blinks green when they look at you, and they walk the other way.
Can't stop me, Vice Grip. I shall outsmart you with my excellent clearage.
With my
VIP.
Yeah. You know what the P stands for? Yeah, bet you don't.
Damn. Alrighty. So, we're gonna go from you to the interior of the garage. Oh. As you guys get down to the garage, you actually do see this, see the machine the Hammer Tide is famous for. And in this instance, suppose, actually, there we go. The machine Hammer Tide is famous for is surprisingly simple, really. Most of the fighters in the tournament have upgunned mechs, like really, really polished, highly like equipped gear. Some of it's like warfighter levels of like quality. There's a bleeding edge technology abounds. But instead of seeing all this crazy technology when you get there, instead what you see is actually just kind of, well, a goofy ass mech that you guys would see almost anywhere else. It's very similar to the Vox assembly walkers you guys saw a few years back. It's an old Da Vinci class walker frame.
So it's industrial equipment, basically.
Basically, yeah, it's a forklift. A boofer. Yes, it is a forklift, more or less. It is rugged and well armored. These things are made to take a lot of impact shocks and get thrown around like crazy. But yeah, it's basically just the power lifter from Aliens with extra steps. Stands roughly about 18 feet tall, heavy ceramic armor. The plating on the plating over the canopy is nice. The only difference from the art I just shared with you guys is the fact that it's completely silver with one splash of red stripe down it. Almost like someone splattered it with blood, but it was intentionally like done as a paint. It wasn't like his actual blood.
That would be a bit too hardcore.
Yeah, no. It has extra armor, that's for sure. So it has been up armored. And it does have a couple of like simple Vulcan guns on it for long range engagements. It has what appears to be a booster system on it to help it move around more quickly. And on the back is a giant impact hammer, which, as opposed to like the usual skewering hydraulic device that's bolted to a mech's arm, this thing is actually like a giant sledgehammer, the giant piercing head at the end. And yeah, it's in surprisingly pristine quality as it stands there.
Can I roll to check for A for sabotage and B for any spy devices?
You absolutely can. Please do. Roll me engineering in this case.
And can I add my industrial equipment?
You absolutely can, in robotics as well. It literally qualifies for that. The rest of the chamber that you guys are in, this large vaulted structure, kind of like it sort of looks like a warehouse. But the interior of it, you can see, has a bunch of cameras on it. There's huge racks of industrial equipment off to the sides and storage. It literally looks like someone stacked a bunch of cargo containers from a ship nearby, and each of them has like different color codes on it. There's a bunch of other like gantries nearby, some of which have mechs, some of which don't.
Engineering.
You absolutely may. And there's also a computer console next to it as well, which appears to be open and accessible for you.
I used a moat to re-roll because my roll was butt, even with my modifiers. And
Yeah.
my dice ended up exploding, my d6, so it's a 16.
Okay. 16. Nice. You absolutely can help, so you'll roll your engineering roll as well. And you can, actually, if you want, you can roll hacking. You can use your hacking module for this if you want to check for electronic sabotage. Or you can just do engineering. That works too.
Pages. If I do hacking, I get a load more modifiers, though.
You do. It's your call. There is, like I mentioned, a console right next to you, which you probably could connect it to the machine.
I'll roll with the hacking because that is, like, even if I don't roll as well, it'll give me more for it.
Okay. You also gain benefits for your hacking module as well, since you can add that on. And if you want, you could absolutely use the hacking program if you chose. Oh.
I'm going to use a moat, just straight up, because that was awful.
Yeah, it's a 2 and a 4. That's horrible.
That's horrid.
Yeah.
Like,
Because we were rolling so well earlier that all of a sudden we used up all our luck.
yeah. Apart from mouse, I don't know that any of my...
Technically, your
Although-
roll is a lot higher, Becky, because you didn't add your mod to your luck die.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
Oh, that's
You
worse.
didn't add your modifiers to your luck die, so it's more than 16. You rolled 16, but then you've got +8 with all your modifiers.
Is that how that works, or is that separate?
That is how it works, yes. And I'm so sorry. Well, you can roll again if you wanted, because statistically speaking...
Screw it, yeah.
No, if you roll higher, it's better.
Thanks, love.
If you don't piss off the armored, the massive, muscled, scary fighter.
Ah!
Yeah,
oh,
There we
well.
go! A number above 3.
Okay, so
that
what is
was
it
only
for-
one, but that's still the best of any of them, so I'll take that one, I guess. Okay, so 7...
Plus your
plus
hacking
5
module.
Hacking. Can I use my espionage as part of this? Okay, so plus another 2. What about academics? I'm researching, I'm investigating.
I don't think academics will help.
Fine, it was worth a try. That's fine. So 7 plus the 7, so 14. I can do that one. Yep.
So 14,
My wait, what?
your hacking module as well. Did you add that in? The die for it?
I did not.
Yep, roll that too.
Just check what I'm doing. Would this be classed as intrusion that I'm doing right now?
It absolutely would be classified as intrusion. If you're using, even if you're not using a program, you could qualify it as intrusion. I don't think you're trying to make the mech do anything. You're just trying to get into it.
No, I'm just nosying.
Yeah, that's
That's
intrusion
fine,
by
which means it's-
definition.
That's fine, which means I get a D8 instead of a D6. I've got
Go.
6 for it. I'll take it. So 14 plus 6, 20. I can do that math.
That's perfect. And because you're helping, you're the first person to help. It's halved, so that's 10.
The
Your roll.
whole
So
10.
Vaughn,
I would be a 24 with modifiers.
so 24 becomes a 34 after modifiers between the two of you. So you
I
scour
wish to know
over.
all the things.
I would dare say so. For starters, this is an unopposed roll. The machine is not manned, nor has it, from as far as you can tell, been in any way kept from you. Becky, as you look through this machine's physical form, as you go over it, the fine-tooth comb, it is highly maintained. There are every component part of it is kept in pristine condition. You know that because most walkers, when they're used, there's little bits of wear and tear just naturally occur. Occasionally you get fluid stains from oil or coolant or lubrication that might break free and might slightly stain the armor. Rust can occasionally build up, oxidation, paint chipping, small impacts. This mech has none of those. At least none of those as of late. And all of the component parts of it, even the joints themselves, which normally there's a little bit of goo buildup in them. If you ever seen the interior of even a well-oiled engine, they'll still get crud around parts of it where just oil dries and meets air. Everything is fresh and clean. There's not even gunk on the joint. This was very clearly routinely maintained and almost never used. However, the big asterisk on that, Becky, you notice that a lot of these parts appear to be designed somewhat interchangeable. The armor plating is designed to come on and off and be replaced at speed, so it's entirely possible that as you look at the rest of this, you realize being a gilder frames are built from top to bottom to be replaced at speed. So if an arm breaks, you unscrew the old one and put a new one on. When you look closely, you can see the only part of the mech that has wear and tear is around the torso. And it's namely where the shoulder joints socket in and the waist joint sockets, those are slightly stripped from being replaced so frequently. Now, we turn over to the other side of it, which is where Zenith, you notice that this thing has been maintained immaculately and routinely. You get into its systems logs and you see it seems like it's literally serviced at least twice every 4 days. So once every 2 days, this thing gets like a full top to bottom like inspection and replacement routine. It gets its computer systems scrubbed and maintained, which makes sense. This walker is basically more or less a seat for a VR tournament, and so they would want to make sure the programming especially isn't tampered with. A person's consciousness is being pushed through. So they don't want someone to, we don't need someone to get lawnmower manned in the course of this tournament. So as a result, that's incredibly well maintained. However, you also notice when you compare that log to all the other maintenance logs that are in this garage, which you can access from the terminal that you're in, this mech gets repaired twice as much as anybody else's does. Everyone else gets maintenance calls once every 4 days, because these mechs don't usually leave the garages. Usually, again, they're just sort of showpieces, a machine to be scanned into a VR environment, and then all the rough and tumble happens in the VR. The only real time they move is to go in and out of the tournament itself, like enter the arena and do showboating for the crowd, and then they go into their little VR pod, and then they appear in the virtual space, projected in front of everyone on a, what is it called again? Ferro hologram. So like a Magneto Ferro hologram, so that they can feel the impacts and that kind of thing. But the person and the machine don't get physically damaged. So repairs constantly seem weird, especially the ones you're looking at, where it seems that this mech has its arms and its legs cycled routinely.
You've been going to underground fights.
Is there any sort of clear, or any sort of marks that anything that demarks out when these are being replaced? Is it just wear and tear, replace, or is there any notes of like, oh, this sort of damage, that sort of damage, this happened, that happened?
Whenever there's a replacement, it simply just lists. It simply just lists component swap, and usually it'll only show who requests it. So, like in this particular instance, you can see that half of the requests for maintenance were done by New Letali, and the other half of the requests for maintenance were done by Hammertide, in this case, Jericho Ritchie. So, that's really all you got there.
Is
but
it all the same? Like, is there been any variations, any changes on the parts being used? So, like, any change in manufacturer, anything like that?
So, no change in manufacturer. But what you do notice is that the parts that are swapped, it has a serial number for those parts usually. And that serial number differentiates individual objects, like not just the make and model, but also like the individual part. And what you notice is the new arms that get swapped, it basically seems like it swaps a pair of arms. There's new arms, and those new arms always seem to be brand new numbers. But then they swap to older parts, which you know that they are because it's the same exact serial number.
So he's cycling back round the previous ones then?
It's not just that, it's also the armor plating as well. All of this appears to be like stored on site, actually, in one of those containers nearby that's registered under his name. And again, it's not uncommon. A lot of these fighters have alternate kits for fighting in different environments, and they scan the mech in. So if you want to fight underground or underwater, you need to have the conditional equipment for that. So they have option works that they swap in and out of for fights, especially at this level. And it's just listed as another options works pod. But it's there. It should be like 30 feet to your right. And
I would like to look at those. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, explain this to Becky, and they're like,
yeah,
like
she'll join in.
It looks like they are going to be they are stored over there. I feel like she'll look over, and Becky's already like,
yeah,
like, ooh, new parts.
So Tide pods are all the same exact color. Hammer's Tide Pods are all in the exact same color scheme as his mech, which is pretty easy. Again, silver with a single red stripe. And it has all the same like logos and stuff strapped on it. He doesn't have many logos on his mech. In fact, actually, he has none from what you can see beyond the new Letali Tournament Circuit and his own personal icon, which is literally a fist holding a hammer in a red circle. It's very, very Soviet-esque imagery, if I'm being completely honest. However,
which is why he was murdered.
Maybe. However, the pods have all the actual sponsors that have him, and it's everyone in the JSA: Euripides Interstellar, Chromium Industrial, Alliance Foundry, New Letali, of course, the Joint Syndicate Authority, Lavara Collective, 27 other corporations. They even have like other ones, including ones that are nowhere near the sector, like, as an example, the Mirage Collective. And also, I think one particular one that always comes to mind is, oh yeah, that's right. He actually does have 0 Point Manufacturing as a sponsorship, which is actually a, like, synthetic sponsorship. So the Children of Iron, like their state-run corporation, have sponsored him at one point. And so when you open the box, a bunch of shiny new parts. Most of it appears to be like orbital maneuvering gear, so like extra boosters, an extra like reinforcing component for a cockpit that's designed to like polarize in like an environment where there's extraordinary brightness. So same way like an astronaut's helmet does. Also a couple laser cannons. Make me an awareness check.
Button.
Both of us or just her?
Both of you. I want both of you too. You're both. I'm presuming you're both picking through this.
Oh yeah.
Giant container.
I'm replacing mine. Oh, you do yours first.
Now
Okay.
I get now I get that roll. That sort of roll. Bloody
There
hell.
you go. That's a 19 before mods. I'm willing to let you add your espionage to this awareness roll as well. Becky, you can add your.
I'm replacing my roll with the Child of Tomorrow. 13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
23.
So 13 to 23. Okay. So, Becky, we'll start with you. You rolled a 13. The amount of like equipment on display is pretty impressive. Most of the laser weapons are from 0 Point Manufacturing, from what you can tell. Which is odd. They usually don't do laser weapons, but they appear to have made an exception for him, as well as also some of the orbital maneuvering gear, all theirs. However, you notice at the back, there appears to be like just a whole like wall of tools, and those tools are severely well worn. They are all like replacing equipment tools. It's all like rivet guns and pneumatic drills, stuff like that. Pneumatic ratchets designed to quickly swap bolts in and out. And like, you can see that those tools are so supremely worn because they've been used so routinely. You normally don't see a pneumatic ratchet, like, in triplicate, the exact one, and one of them has been burned all the way through. You can see, like, the motor has literally sort of exploded out of the side at one point, and the other one's so worn that, like, the ratchet itself is basically just a circle inside now. There's, like, no hexagonal, like, filing left in there. The final one is relatively new. But, like, the wall is very heavily used. And this is where we turn over to you, Zenith. You see everything I just described, but the wall that Becky's looking at, the tools that Becky's looking at, are hanging on a pegboard. Not uncommon. Which, you know, anyone who's ever been inside of someone's garage where they own a lot of tools, they have pegboard, they have little screws in it, and they hang their tools up on it. Usually, that's against metal. However, appears to be a hinge on one side of this. And you reach in to sort of grab one of the screws that has no tool on it, and you pull, and the whole thing opens forward like a door. And behind it, you can see an entirely new, quote unquote, a other set of arms and legs and plating. All of that has been severely beaten. It is it shows all the wear and tear of mechs actually being used. There's a lot of scoring, scrapes, dents. There is a set of hands that appear to have had like many of their joints replaced, and they all have like a little oxidation and grip on them. And the legs themselves appear to have been replaced a couple of times. Becky, just a glance at that, because I'm presuming you are following Zenith as you see this. You can see one of the knee joints literally has a hitch in it from how often it's been used. Like, it actually has like a little limp. You can tell because there's like a little crack in one of the cambros that secures it. And so, like, I think you found the actual, like, real parts of the actual and also at the very back, there is a hammer. It is not the full, like, the person-size hammer, but another of the people hammer. Same one, but this one, as opposed to polished silver with a nice polished black head and a leather-wrapped handle of, like, immaculate make, this one is, like, a hand-wrapped handle with actual, like, belt leather around the bottom, secured with, like, old glue, like industrial glue to make the grip. The handle itself is, like, a little bit rusty in places, and the head itself has been dented several spots. And it is, from what you can see, it even appears to have, like, extra scoring and, like, corrosion where the head is. This is the original People's Hammer from when he used to be in the underground circuit.
Quick, scan it as a murder weapon.
Love that child, like, steal it!
This is the mech's hammer, not his hammer.
Correct. It's not human scaled. Now, I will say, given your incredibly high rolls here, Lolly, I can say... Oh yeah, we have neighbors moving. I was just like, what is that? That's our neighbors. So there is a spot on the pegboard, backside of it, in the secret compartment, that appears to be the right. It's like it has that like slightly lighter color behind it, a silhouette of what would be a human-sized hammer, but it's not there, not currently.
Can't hear you, love.
Oh no, that was intentional. That's me behind the scenes, just like, oh my god, oh my god.
Okay. Panicked.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems someone didn't like to give up the underground.
Guess we, find the hammer, find the murderer.
Well, theoretically, yes.
From outside of the cargo pod, like not nearby, but like I guess a little nearby, but a lot like around the corner, like a couple dozen feet away at least. You hear one of the officers, like one of the security officers that was like standing at the door when you guys came in. Hey, you guys all right in there? Need any help?
Fine, thank you. Go distract him. I'm going to close this up. We'll come back and investigate it later. I think this should be kept on the down low until we have more information.
Becky puts a thumbs up and goes to talk to the guard. Random guard?
Yeah.
It's like, distract the random guard! Zena's going to be like, right, grab as much info as she can off quickly, and then be like, right, I'm coming back to this later.
Okay. Make me one quick hacking roll, one final time. You can use your hacking module, and you can, in fact, use intrusion. Yes, espionage counts.
Fuck yes!
There we go. Yep.
There we go. Woo! 2 explosions. I'll still roll my luck dice because...
I'm just saying, I think my advice helped, okay? Like,
you did.
Roll better.
12 and 1, so we're at 25.
Yep.
I'll roll the software as well, plus 6. So 25 plus 6, numbers.
31.
Thank
31.
you.
Yeah.
Plus 5 for my hacking.
36.
36. Plus 2 espionage.
38.
38, please. Yes, on me. Yes.
Okay, so as
I would like to metaphorically own this.
Yes, as you're leaving, you realize that even though these mech parts aren't attached to the mech, your wrist link can power them up enough to get a complete scan of their internal systems.
Yeah.
So you basically just like literally go through, just go plug, clone, and like one at a time. These parts are so old, you actually have to use a wire from your wrist link, plug it in. These old chassis like are made originally. Like these old Gilders frames are about at this point actually nearly 500 years old in terms of like their original inception. And while they've been like re-released a dozen times, it's kind of like, you know, why reinvent the wheel? These things have been working good for hundreds of years, and that's why they work. They keep them simple. So like, yeah, but you get all of it very quickly. Hilariously, because of how simple the technology is, it's easy to clone that tech. It's practically the level of like scientific advancement we would see in your average person, like lawnmower scooter, like where they just sort of rigged something up out of like a chain and a simple like what's it called again? Like a weed whacker motor. Like it's that level of like technology at this era. But it works. Becky, as you step outside, you can see there is just a normal like JSA Rapid Reaction Force officer, again wearing the same exact like new Letali colors as you've seen before, and just sorry, didn't mean to intrude, ma'am. Just saw you guys go in, and I know those parts get heavy and they can come off the racks. Want to make sure you two are all right.
We're good. How long have you been doing this?
A few years, ma'am. It's a pretty steady job.
Nice. See too much action, or is it relatively quiet?
Oh, it's quiet up here. I'm mostly guarding boxes. Nobody comes in. Except for the fighters and their pit crews. And they've all got ID.
Do you have the logs for the past couple days?
If you need them, yeah. I can totally get you those security clearance logs. Come with me. And, you know, this giant, like, 10-foot tall metal man walks over to the door. And there's, like, a little kiosk there, and he pushes a button. There's a little as it spits out a little physical, like, data stick. He just turns on and hands it to you. That's a clone of pretty much the past 7 days' logs. Piero told me to give you whatever you need. Hopefully that'll help.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You
no
actually enjoy your job? I just want to make sure, because, I mean, we're recruiting.
It's a job, ma'am. I have decent health care, pretty good security, decent benefits. If I do this for another 10 years, I retire. Call that a win.
Nice. They treat you well. That's important.
Yeah, well, at least I'm not working down in the plank, or even in the domes. Oh, those poor bastards. You see those guys who are handing out the merch in those upper tiers? First job on the town. Feel bad for those.
What can you tell me about the planks?
I don't take many patrols down there, but kind of rough and tumble. People there are decent, but high pressure job. It's still a mining colony, even with all of this. So they're dealing with getting their hands gummed up. All sorts of crap. Even with all their equipment and gear, people die in the mines. It happens. Just the nature of the work. There's no amount of industrialization or drone usage that can remove the risk.
Not yet.
Everyone's been saying that for generations. That technology is going to solve every one of our problems. But in my experience, it just makes new ones. You introduce drones, they have a limited range. People need to go in with the drones. Bring in power supplies. Power supplies can rupture, cause havoc. Not the point. The point is mining is dangerous and has been for as long as I'm aware of it. Still is. They do their best, but we get hurt. So they party hard, they work hard, they live hard. So, yeah. Great place to go if you want a drink. Everything up here is all those hoity-toity umbrella drinks. Down there, you can get something actually stiff.
All right, you have any recommendations?
Umbrella drinks.
I'm not normally one for whiskey, but here Gerald's has a good bourbon. You mean to go there, but they don't particularly like seeing my kind down there, and I can't exactly blame them. Underground Tournament Circuit doesn't like seeing the metal bouncers show up, so we try not to. Besides, what they do feeds into what we do up here. You don't poison your own roots, you know?
How so?
Well, think about it. The underground tournament circuit feeds into the professional circuit. That's what Viero's putting all his money behind nowadays, as far as I can tell. Truth of the matter is, and he sort of leans in a little more conspiratorially, and you can, like, it's kind of silly, because it's this guy in full power armor, so it's not exactly a discreet gesture for a 10-foot-tall guy to crouch down. But, like, whispers in with one hand over, like, the front of his faceplate to reduce the volume on his speakers. Truth is, everything I've seen, pretty sure Letali's looking to move away from mining. Everything going on with the Chromium Directive and them getting involved. Chromium Industrial does mining on a vaster scale, more efficiently than New Letali's done for generations. It's the nature of the beast. Humans kind of strip mine everything ruthlessly, whereas the clique just kind of mine things to turn them into colonies. They don't want to poison the rocks that they inhabit, so they clean it out slowly, steadily, and when you're done, you have a very clean, perfectly susceptible new environment. Humans, they'll crack the fucking thing open with TNT and just take what they need. The rest of the debris falls into the star. Shit. So it's hard to match that level of industrial, I don't want to say, like, use, but, you know, you're dealing with non-planets. So no one really cares if a couple of asteroids explode to get better results. Not to mention also, New Letali is actually not the original owners of this place. That was Vanta Corp back in the day, and after everything went to shit, they bought it at a loss. So I don't think Viero and New Letali were ever really that comfortable with their niche here, especially when Chrome started looking at it. That's a big megacorp from humanity right there. The clique might have huge megacorps, but New Letali isn't one of them. So
If
I
the
think
fights would stay, how would people's livelihoods be affected by that?
Say again?
The fights would stay, I would assume, if they stopped mining, but how would that affect everyone's livelihoods?
Oh, the fights would be the only thing. I think Viero's looking to turn this into an entertainment thing. Broadcasting is their whole thing. That tower, the one right to the east of us, the third one, call that one the antenna for a reason. It's the hub of pretty much all the broadcasting in the entire sector. Euripides likes to pretend they're the guys in charge of all the entertainment, but they're in charge of live entertainment, actual travel. You watch something on the Prism locally, it's probably gone through the antenna. And as far as how it would affect all those poor guys down in the planks, I don't know. Can't imagine a lot of those jobs would stick around if they moved away from mining. They'd probably still finish up with what they have here, but even then, I don't know if you've looked at our asteroid lately. Not a lot of it left. Kind of looking more like an eggshell than a rock mill. Eventually, we're going to run out of stone and meaningful resources to pull out of it, and at that point, oh, life of a guilder. You go from one job to the next. Oh, yeah. Willing to bet? Entertainment. Be nearly as much mining. A lot of guilder contracts would probably dry up. I can't imagine they'd be keen on that. But that's pretty much the story of the sector. How it goes.
Has enough time passed, or does she need to continue?
Oh, at this point, it was... Yo, you're good. At this point, like, Zenith
was a speedy queen about that. She was not messing around.
Yeah, if anything, Zenith, you probably have seen this conversation, like, about a third of the end of it. Like, just watching it through the door.
Oh. And upon seeing Zenith, she holds up the data disk. Thanks. Thank you for this. We'll do our best to find out who's responsible.
I appreciate it. I had a couple hundred credits riding on Hammertide, but I'll be honest, I kind of liked them anyway. So, yeah, let me know if you need any more help. I'll be happy to give you a hand.
And she might actually like reach out her hand and be like, "I'm Becky."
Robert takes her hand, shakes it, and yeah, we cut from there as you two leave the room with a fair bit more knowledge than you had.
Indeed.
So now there's a different kind of financial motivation for his death. Assuming he might be involved, but might not. We'll see.
We finally are on to Mognir. Mognir, where were you heading again? Remind me, refresh us. It's been a bit.
He was having a general wander, but he started to get an idea and wanting to head to if there is like a centralized security office within this tower.
Oh yeah, there's a couple. This is it is a 15-kilometer large structure, so as a result, like, it's hard to find something that's like centralized per se, but there absolutely is. So let me just up. Actually, such a big records of it. Here we go. Okay. So, as you're like, you can find a security tower, just like a security series of rooms. Most of that is actually going to be of the three towers. There's the tower to the right, which is the antenna, and the tower to the left, which is primarily involved in like contracting and commercial work. That's where you actually get almost all of like all the Gilder contracts go through there, as well as also like the mining hub of the sector for the Letali Corporation goes through that. But the central tower is the nerve center. So all their security feeds into the central tower. Roughly about like 2/3 of the way up, there's a security hub. And when you get there, you can see it's roughly about like 6 guys, different species of different varieties of synthetic, a Shrike, an Acris, human, couple click, all sitting in front of consoles with headsets on, looking through what appears to be thousands of like camera feeds. Most of it's pretty straightforward. It almost looks like a 911 operating center for what appears to be the whole of New Letali. And as you enter in, there is a security officer at the door, and they turn to look at you, and just, you can see the icon, the New Letali icon on their face, briefly like winks green. It winks green as it like scans your wrist link, and just like, what can I do for you, sir?
I have a couple of thoughts that you might be able to help me with.
No way, sir. Whatever you need, we can do here.
Who or what team found Hamatide?
That'd probably be Janine. Janine! And you can see, like, one of the folks over at the chairs turns around. Yes, sir? And you can see it's a woman with a relatively short bob cut, mostly, like, platinum blonde, very clearly been, like, bleached several times over, and has, like, a blue streak through the whole thing. She's wearing relatively, like all of them are wearing, like, relatively neat uniforms, like, well-pressed. Yes, sir. You were the one on duty, when you found him, right? Yes, sir. I was manning the plank reactions that night, and got a call in roughly about 3:30 a.m. local time. I'm happy to answer any questions or give you access to my console, sir. He turns around and looks at you, Wagner.
Mainly, was the call as an anonymous tip, or did someone specifically call in to say they had found Hamatide?
Like most of the emergency responses we get from the plank, that one was an anonymous tip. They're not particularly keen on giving out their information. Complicate their Gilder status if they get embroiled in anything that might be illegal. So most of our tips are, discreet. We did find 2 people when they were there. They were waiting with his body, but shortly after the JSA reaction force operators arrived, they cleared out pretty quickly. They didn't seem like they were looting him or anything. They seemed like they were just watching to make sure that we found him.
What is the normal protocol? How guarded do you normally respond?
Well, security reaction teams will be weighed, usually, and same thing with medical and emergency services, based on the contract number. depending on how pivotal your status is, reaction can be increased or decreased. So if we hear a fire down in the plank, if it's coming from just a random guilder who refused to give their identification, it gets put at the very bottom of the list for the resources dedicated and the time taken to react to it. However, we also put like asterisks on that response time based on how relevant it might be and impactful it might be to the environment around it. So again, a fire for one person inside of their room might not rate a fire response at all in the plank. But if it starts spreading or could pose a risk of spreading and causing more structural damage, then yes, we will send a fire team pretty quickly. For murder, we'll usually send one rapid reactionary, if not two, but only for registered citizens. Guilders often have their own security, and we might just follow up with them afterward if they've already gotten themselves on it, which normally they do. Hammertide is, however, was a VIP of the new Letali Corporation and rated the highest response. So we sent about 20 rapid reactionaries down to find it. It would have probably been more soldiers entering the plank than has entered it in about 15 years, if I'm being honest. Not surprised they were scared.
There was no resistance met, other than no one blocked your paths, no incidents reaching the body?
Just time. The plank is massive. It's as wide as the tower is tall. And unlike the tower, it's stacked many layers thick. So it can take a while to get to somewhere. Also, it's labyrinthian under there. But to get to him, they went quickly as they could. It also must be said that when rapid reactionaries react to a VIP in distress, they oftentimes will categorize terrain as an optional consideration.
Was any of that documented in this instance?
Yes, sir. About 3 walls ran through, as we understand. No depressurizations, no people's injured, everyone got out of the way. Some disruption in a small area down there, one house, but everyone got out fine, and as I understand, they've rebuilt already. It was unregistered already, which happens a lot down there with the slums. So, but no one was hurt, and certainly no one resists. JSA Rapid Reaction Forces, well, how do you resist that? And she gestures at the soldier at the door, and yeah, you know what it's like to be in a hard suit. Makes you a little god.
Yes and no. Do you have the logs, and I'm assuming photos and recordings from the initial team who found the body? As I would presume you would have been documenting the entire response.
We do, yes, sir. If you'll follow me, I'll take you to the archive. It's literally right down here. She stands up out of the table and begins to sort of walk around. And again, it's like sort of this little central bubble area where they're seated in a circle. But along the sides of this room, there are doors which lead into what look like server hallways or server farm. And so he walks you down there. The soldier stays at the door. He doesn't leave his post. And when he, when she gets to the end, she pulls out a console from one of the servers and types a little bit. And eventually a feed opens up. If you want, you can patch this right into your hard suit. Probably is a good idea to watch this as discreetly as possible. It's difficult footage.
Difficult is not something I have to deal with. It won't be difficult for me to view it.
Yes, sir. She hits play. And it very much is like a cop body cam footage. From what you can tell, unlike cop body cams which take place, most of that footage comes from your chest for obvious reasons.
Directly from
Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
From what you can tell, also, it includes blinking, which means that the feed isn't from a camera in the headset. It's actually intercepting neural feed from the hard suit. So you're seeing what they literally saw with their eyes, and it has been recorded. And so as you're watching, it actually says Operator 1 of this squad number, like Squad 368. And you can see, like, there's a lot of footage that's sort of just like, it's literally just travel time. And she's fast forwarding through most of it because it's just like literally these guys getting there, arriving in a hover vehicle, jumping out of the hover vehicle, literally running down hallways at full tilt.
Yeah,
for what
he's
looks
trying
like
to just get her to just sort of skip through.
Yeah.
She's obviously aware of what I'm actually trying to see.
Exactly. Eventually, there's a part where you can see they literally run through a wall, and there's a brief, like, less than a couple of, like, quarter seconds, like a person going, like, and then they're past them, and then eventually, it shows what you're looking for. It's the footage slows down again, and you can hear the voices of the soldiers, the of everyone breathing into their mics. 3, you got point. Move. Yes, sir. You can see one of the soldiers running ahead, and you can see over his head a little green, like, number 3. 2, you got his back. 4 and 6, you're on me. The rest of you, fan out, make a circle. No one gets in. No one gets out without my say-so. Well, am I understood? Sir, yes, sir. And they all, like, begin to fan out, and you can see, like, the little radar screen of them going through. And in the distance, you can hear, like, screaming coming over intercoms as they're literally, like, scaring people to get the fuck out of the way and making a cordon. And they begin to pound down this gantryway. The gantryway they're on is hard vacuum. This is one of the parts of the plank that extends into space. And the gantryway is literally this metal corrugated plate, like, with hanging off of pipes. It's literally no bigger than what you and I would expect. And it looks out directly onto the planet below. You can look through the frame, the superstructure, see it from the below. And as these guys come running along the gantryway, in the distance, you see a body floating there, human, supposedly, in a hard suit, slightly hands, like, pulled up a little bit. It's very big. It's very clearly hammer-tied. And standing, like, next to him was, like, one person who was, like, gently, like, trying to shake the shoulder, see if they would react. And another one, like, watching out a little bit. And they see the hard suit soldiers coming. And one of them points and then grabs the other guy and shakes his shoulder really hard. And you see the other one just, like, looks at his buddy and then looks over and then just goes, like, again, hard vacuum, no audio can be heard. Except for the pounding of metals. The two of them begin to run away, and then you hear over the intercom the perspective of the person who you're watching go, "Secure those 2 right now." "Yes, sir." And 2 goes pounding after them, and you can see the 2 of them, as opposed to waiting, look over the side of the gantry and leap across into space between the 2, across a completely empty void. An absolutely suicidal move. And grab onto a pipe on the far side and begin to clamber into a smaller outlet. Like, the other soldier gets to the end, just, "Damn it! Permission to open fire!" No, obviously not. Belay that. They were just watching. Oh, shit. 3, what do you get? And you can see one of the hard suit guys literally gets up and immediately, like, takes a pack off of his thigh, and it has, like, the red cross on it. Very clearly, it's a human-made, like, med kit. He slaps something onto the torso of where Hammertide is, and his suit has been completely ruptured from like, basically around where the navel is, all the way up to right below the collarbone. And there's a very visible hole there about the size of a bowling ball in his torso.
As you see that bit, which is probably from 3's feet, who's literally right there, freeze that there, and I want to have a look at it, and I want to see if I can figure out what type of weapon or what style of weapon has actually made the damage.
So, make me in this case, I would say, You know what? Make me an offer. What role would you want to make with it?
I was thinking combat, because I know it's probably a melee wound. So I'm trying to discern whether it is a bladed cut, whether it is an impact rupture, or if it is something like a molecular edge piercing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Make that roll for me. Make me a combat roll.
Fantastic. So is that would be still going to go with the 18. That's the mods there. So that is 23 total.
So, been in combat for a while, and you fought a lot of crazy shit. Part of your career as a monster hunter back on the Cliquish homeworld, you fought leviathans, fought deeper beasts, you fought flying creatures that literally will rip a mech out of the ground and throw it 100 feet, and then pick the body out of it for a little bit of... You've encountered crazy shit. The injury you're looking at does not look like a traditional ballistics weapon, and it certainly does not appear to be any kind of conventional weapon at all, actually. The wound that you're looking at, as I mentioned, is a hole in the dude's chest, and it's roughly bowling ball sized. So, like, yeah, the question isn't how much of him, like, is he alive? He's absolutely dead. The footage you're looking at, the guy who's about to attend to him is going to attempt to resuscitate him and certainly fail, because there is a hole where primary organs should be. And so normally with a wound like that, if it were a bludgeoning weapon, the resultant gore would be horrific.
Because you'd have caving and rupture rather than cleaner edges.
Exactly. It would appear as, I mean, it's basically getting stepped on by an elephant or hit with a car or something like that. It would be horrific. It wouldn't be a recognizable person with that much force and trauma involved. It would be pieces. They'd be looking for pieces. Same reason why it's clearly not explosive. He would be in multiple locations around, not in one body. As a piercing weapon, maybe, like, technically you could see it, but the issue is scale. This isn't a person-sized attack. An injury like this is the kind of shit you would get from one of the creatures on your homeworld. This is the kind of thing a Reaper Leviathan would do to somebody if it just wanted you dead and just wanted to be like, oh, I don't want to deal with you, skewers you with a nail and flings your body 30 feet. You'd have a lovely nail-shaped hole in your body, because for them, it was as easy as pushing its finger through you. This injury has the hallmarks of a piercing injury, but the force behind it, the trauma involved, is spectacular. If you didn't know any better, it looked more like he fell and impaled himself on something massive. That would be like, this is the sort of injury you get from falling 80 feet onto, like, say, a transmission antenna, more than you would, like, getting stabbed by any conventional weapon.
Would it be consistent to mech scale melee weaponry?
100%. But the weird thing is, there's no way a mech would fit in here. Maybe if it clambered around the outside, but that would be noticeable, and probably have left some damage on the framework. Given your roll, and you rolled high, so I'll give you this. Whenever a mech or a walker maneuvers, unless it's a 0G maneuver, which this isn't 0G, so it is possible, it leaves an impact where it goes. You know, it's like a person leaving footprints. When you're that big and moving that fast, metal becomes pretty malleable. They'll leave plate prints in the ground.
My hard suit can leave impact fucking prints, so a mech definitely will.
Yeah, exactly. there's no, as far as you can tell, like, the terrain's beat up, yeah, sure, but it's rusty and old and battered and falling apart, like everything down here. There would probably be debris from an injury like that if it was delivered by a person on a mech. As a hard suit could do something like this, possibly, but it would be a stunning amount of force and a phenomenal amount of over. And probably pretty visible. Like, this is the equivalent of someone putting their hard suit's fist through someone's abdomen. Like, that guy would not be walking around, like, discreetly after doing that kind of injury to someone. Someone would notice a bloody-handed mech walking around, or a bloody-handed person. So yes, this is mech-level injury, but you have no idea how a mech or a hard suit would have gotten in here without somebody fucking seeing it or reporting it. Especially since the call you heard, they reported an injured person. They did not report a fight.
I can guarantee it would have been seen, but nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
The only two folks that might have seen it, maybe, literally, like, suicidally tried to avoid being known. They made it, but, like...
After seeing this, he's going to sort of take the console from her and sort of scan back and forward slowly to try and see as much of the area around where he is to see if there's any other damage.
Okay. This is going to be an awareness roll.
Yep.
Okay. Take it.
I now want to see what I can see of over damage from a foot, basically.
Okay. Nice. That's a 10.
Not so nice.
Plus mods.
Which is +3 for awareness. 13.
13. Okay. So...
Just debating whether I try and moat it to get it better.
You could certainly try. I'll be real, that's a pretty above average roll, but if you always want to shoot for higher, I'm never going to stop you. You do have more moats than most.
Yeah, I do have 3. I might as well. Come on. You bastard. No. Shit. Could I argue hunting as a boost?
I would say so. I would say so.
It's not going to be much better with the 8 there. It's going to bring it down to a 13. So,
okay, 13. So, it's literally the same roll as before, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, this gantry's been beaten to hell a million times over. You can see where it's exposed to space. It probably has been maintained by a mech once or twice. But it isn't fresh damage from what you can see. There is one area that appears to be fresh damage. That appears to be a recently burst pipe. It's roughly about eye level for a person. And you can see that there's a dent in it. Severe. It's bent the pipe and it's literally like tore a chunk out of it. It's the only reason you noticed it is because there's a whole bunch of ice that's frosted over the breach, where whatever the pipe is carried hit the vacuum and just flash vaporized and then began to freeze, and then created a seal. So there's like a little bit of like a fog from what you can see. It's not a spectacular amount of damage. It's the kind of thing a person on foot with like a ball peen hammer or a pipe wrench could manage pretty easily. And with how rusty everything is, hell, theoretically someone could grab it and yank it. But given the size of it, you have your doubts. It looks like a actual result of a fight.
So it looks as if whatever hit Hammertide only hit Hammertide.
Very likely.
Which probably means this was an ambush and he was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Which means he was probably lured here or it was someone he knew and was expecting a conversation, not to be fucking run through and impaled.
They're all reasonable assumptions to make. After a couple of seconds, you can hear a little bit of like an behind you as the attendant kind of like has her hand over her mouth and she's looking away from the screen as best as she can. Is there anything else I can do for you, sir?
I presume, if I continue watching this, they scan the area for any other signs, and there was no recovery of his hammer, his weapon.
Yeah, more or less. They looked to see if he might have had anything on his person. If he did, didn't find any signs of it. A lot of folks who go through the plank will often carry satchels or packs. So if he had one on him, we don't know. And if he had anything on him, it might have been in that. That'd be my guess. But as far as the scan, they did a cursory scan, but it's the plank. Everything there is so busted and rusty and, well, improvised that there's really no purpose to the scan. Whenever we take one, it just sort of captures the scene, which we do have, but not like we can compare it to any blueprints or anything. We don't know what damage has occurred last week or last month or 5 hours. Pretty confident to say, however, that any damage done to that gantry probably is old for the most part, and hard for us to tell, sir.
I do have another question, but I don't know whether it's one that you'd be able to help me with.
Yeah, sure.
As he sort of kind of leads out of the archives. How did Hammertide leave the tower and end up in the plank without anybody realizing or think to keep eyes on him? He is a VIP asset for yourselves, but seemingly no one knew he was there.
She sort of looks left to right, and she sort of pulls you in a little closer. Truth is, a lot of the VIPs prefer discretion. We're supposed to keep eyes on them to make sure that they're safe, sure, but we're not supposed to pursue unless they call us to. Hammertide technically is a VIP. I mean, think about it. Work for a megacorp. Really think they want, like, even rent-a-cops like us digging too deep into what they do?
This is why I said it's a question that I'm not sure you'd be able to answer.
Well, I can tell you, some of the fighters love to skip out of the tower and have ragers, go and have fun times. Generally speaking, we know when they leave, but sometimes they don't always scan out, and if they don't, you don't hassle about it. Probably just didn't scan out. Maybe he used maintenance access ways or something. I don't know. Or someone could have erased the documents or the data. That does happen.
Can you tell when or who has? Or would that be someone with higher clearance can make sure that you can't see it?
A yes to both of those. Hold on, let's look. He opens one final console, it's like right by the door. Flips through it. Yeah. Security clearance right there. Huh. That's weird. That's not Letali. It says it's, Resonance Security Solutions? I don't recognize that company. Weird.
Make me a copy of that and you never saw it.
Gladly. He gives you the copy, hands it over. Good luck.
And he just turns and leaves without saying anything else.
That is where we end our session for the day, boy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for our next session. I'm really glad to be back on Twitch, playing Legacy First Flight. I've missed this so dearly, and I'm very glad that you guys can watch and enjoy. In the future, I hope you guys continue in. We'll be doing this every other Saturday, and I'll let you guys know on our schedule when that occurs. Also, please look into all the amazing folks that are here. We have, namely, Ampersand Productions. Ampersand D20 is an incredible studio, and I have two of their amazing people here. That includes, the player of Louis and the player of Zenith. So please go give them a look. Paul, you want to plug yourself fast?
Yeah, so I'm Paul, as you say, one of Ampersand D20 Productions. Come check us out Thursday evenings and Wednesday evenings. That's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. You guys can go, and if you follow that link right there, you'll be able to go find the channel. Please go and subscribe to their channel. Give them a follow. Give them love. They're amazing. You will not regret it. And again, huge thank you to everyone who is an amazing patron on my channel. It means the world to have you guys and your support. Again, you can find us at patreon.com.